It was good, folks. Welcome to, I don't want to say another episode of FPL. It's basically FPL. What's good? We used to be called First Period. Then we were just called First Period. But basically, if you guys are new to the show, I'm just going to talk about esports for a shitload of time. If you're not new to the show, you might notice the new digs. We're casting, we're calling, we're talking from a freaking black hole, and I'm pretty excited about that. It's new digs, and I'm really excited. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Evie, the girl who's singing on the intro track. You can find her on iTunes and SoundCloud and all the good stuff. Buy her album. It's dope. She's a hometown friend of mine, so that's pretty sweet. And, of course, the show provided to you by Into the AM. Use code FDOT at checkout to save yourself that 10% and, get you some dope swag. So that's all said and done. And now we can get to the meat and potatoes, which is basically your boy. I'm really excited to get back here. It's been a minute since we've been able to really jump into this type of content. This is where we got our start, actually. As I said, if you're newer to the world, this is like how we started things out. I was streaming from my bedroom and we casted First Period every morning and just kind of talked esports. So we're gonna do that one more time and kind of chill. It's pretty sweet. I'm really, really excited to get into it. Some of the topics we're going to... big deal. Boom. The biggest deal, perhaps. Yeah, everything looks pretty sweet, but who gives a shit? The biggest deal is the fact that y'all are going to be able to call in and talk, which is, like, out of this world. I've never set that up before because I always assumed it was a pain in the ass. And then I mentioned it to my buddy Jameson, and he was like, yeah, we'll figure it out tomorrow. And it definitely is a pain in the ass. But we got it working, sort of, kind of. Things are, like, held together with, like, duct tape, but like I said, Jameson's a genius, so we're going to figure things out. It's all about Discord. I'm going to drop it in chat, !Discord. I think the bot's still online at home. There it is. And you can click on that. That'll get you in the Discord. And then what you want to do is you want to join up in the, the waiting room or some, FPL waiting room is where you want to join up. There's also, and so this is just a general Discord. Y'all can chill here. You can post dog pictures. You can do whatever you want. But for the purposes of FPL, there's an FPL chat that you're going to be, chatting there or whatever. You're going to chill in the waiting room. I got a couple of things to talk about today, and then I'll be able to pull you in and, ask you what you want to talk about. And then at the end, we'll do sort of like a free-for-all where, like, if you want to talk about something I didn't cover, bang, there it is, and we're able to sort of do that sort of thing. So the Discord is going to be a really cool thing. It's going to work, he said confidently. And so we're gonna see how that one works out. On the docket for today, we're going to be talking, so we're going to recap a little bit of summer. We're going to recap a little bit of summer, and we're getting into the fall split in just a couple of weeks, and we have an exhibition tournament this weekend, so summer should be fun. Or summer was fun. We went to fucking Spain. That was dope. And then afterwards, I went to Portugal, and yeah, man. Dignitas beat Rival, and we'll go into the nitty-gritty of that and sort of, we'll talk a little bit about summer. And then after that, I'll open the phone lines. And if you guys have anything to say about, what went on in the tournament or you want to ask a question about something during the summertime, that's your chance to go ahead and, take part of the conversation. And then I'll hang up on everybody, and we'll talk about NRG getting Maniac. And we'll start to talk about that sort of thing. Shout outs to Epidary in the chat. What up, man? Always good to see you. What up, Zach? I see some of you friends. Third, we're going to take a step away from esports for a brief moment, but there's a tie-in, I swear. We're going to talk. I'm going to get really mad on the internet. I'm really good at that. And we're going to talk about the NCAA and its fucking antiquated system and how much it hates its players. Recently, there was a Division I athlete. He was a kicker, American football. He was a kicker, and he got his scholarship stripped because he had a YouTube channel. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to get really mad. And again, at the end, I'll open the phone lines if anybody wants to talk about that. And then finally, we'll actually jump into the NRG Invitational, which is what's going to go down this weekend. So we'll be able to talk about, that sort of type of world and see, talk about the teams and if Aurora is actually going to win anything or if it's just going to be Barracuda slamming everybody home. So we'll be able to open up the phone lines there. And then after that, those are my four big points that I want to hit today. After all said and done, then I'm going to go ahead and we'll just open the floodgates and just be like, yo, what do you want to talk about? Sweet. What do you want to talk about? Sweet. If you're going to be a dickhead, you're going to get banned forever. It's that simple. But in general, I trust. That's the most dangerous thing I've ever said. In general, I'm not expecting you guys to be assholes. Hopefully not. And, like I said, this new digs, new interaction, but it's the same old song and dance. The F. Talks into a Microphone about esports show has been going on since 2013 in some way, shape, or form. It's 2017. I'm not dead yet. I don't know how we pulled that off, but as long as I'm alive, we're gonna be doing it. Is music in that free for all? Yeah, sure. It's a free for all. Why not? So we'll see what goes on and all that stuff. I'm on my laptop, so I can't see this Monka S emote. I hope it's a monkey, but I don't know. My laptop is like, Hi-Res gave it to me, so it's the matchmaking is poor. So recap of summer. Summer was really fun. Real talk. I mean, we went to Valencia. Like, bro, I don't do that sort of thing. Okay. I mean, I'm not from the projects, but I am very far away from Richville, USA. And so like, I don't get to travel like that. Thank you. Like, I'm so psyched that, Hi-Res gets me the opportunities to go to Valencia. And then of course, I traveled on my own to Portugal, but Valencia was pretty gnarly. That was our summer finals, and it was DreamHack. So last year we went to DreamHack in Sweden, which is the real DreamHack. That's like the real big deal. DreamHack now works all over the place. They have a DreamHack Atlanta, which I missed. They have a DreamHack in Texas. They have a DreamHack in I don't know where else, but Sweden was the original, and that's where we went last year. That was crazy. But we didn't have that big of a fan base there, unfortunately. It's going well, Falling into Black. We were in Sweden, whose national sport might as well be Counter-Strike. NIP was playing, and this was when NIP, they're 5 super Swedish team. Like it's like the Yankees in the Bronx. It's like the Celtics in Boston. It's like Ronaldo in Portugal. Like, this is their thing. We were right next to that. The Counter-Strike super duper major. So in Sweden with NIP playing, it wasn't really like, oh, I know what Monka S is. So it wasn't really like exciting. It was exciting. It was a Smite LAN. But the feel was very different. The amount of fans was very different. The interaction was very different. It was just a different world. It was basically small. That's what I'm trying to say. But what wound up happening was Spain was completely different. So Spain, first of all, shout outs to the Spanish fans. Shout outs to the Spanish fans. Hello to Guatemala, Lester. The Spanish fans were as amped up as I've ever seen fans at a LAN. So we have like things that are, we have like our LANs in our small little like esports arena, right? And there's not many fans. It's usually like family. It's like, friends and family, not really like a giant open deal. And so it's a much different feeling, not just for the casters, but also the players. When you go to Worlds, well, yeah, it's a whole convention about Smite, and you get to see everybody, and everybody hangs out, and that's a much different story. But we don't really have these LANs outside of Worlds anymore. And so we did DreamHack last year, and like I said, Counter-Strike was next to us blowing off the building, so like, oh well, sorry. Now this year, well, we didn't have that. Counter-Strike was next to us, but they had their own audience, but we had our own audience as well. And, like I said, Sweden is like the home base, so but Valencia was something different. An hour before the finals were set, we ran out of seats. They had to go and grab seats, like, different places. Mr. Stefan nails it. Finals the Smite audience outshined the Counter-Strike audience, which is like, it's not a competition, and like, yeah, everybody's going to say, well, online, whatever, man. Those live fans, there were more fans watching Smite, and for my money, they were more excited, but of course I'm going to say that I was casting. But the fans were dope. It was so exciting to watch. It was so exciting to be a part of. And the games were fantastic as well. I mean, you couldn't have asked. I think I even said in the cast, you couldn't have asked for a better turnout as far as that was concerned. Like, you had all this stuff. You had the Dignitas versus Rival. It's sort of like the meta versus the anti-meta. Rival goes down. Oh, it was great. Rival goes down 2-0. Dignitas, like, they're just wrecking. Rival kind of are playing, but Dignitas is really just doing the business. And game 3, Rival, elimination game, backs against the wall. Oh no, we got to do it. Nobody's going to, how do we do this? We got to pick solo Ares. They won. They extend the series to game 4 with a freaking solo Ares. So incredible. A big part. So it was actually really, 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 really specific. That strategy only really works. I mean, they had an Athena to taunt. They were able to clear out the blue buff. Like, very specific circumstances allowed that to happen. They come through with the solo Ares. Bang! All of a sudden, they get the first blood. They get a secondary blunt. It was so cool. It was awesome. And then they stretch it to 5 games. Unfortunately, they fall. They fall to Dignitas in game number 5. It was a wonky Fire Giant call that Dignitas gets Fire Giant almost like surprise, and they're able to just win the game off of that. So that was interesting. Yeah, yeah, exactly. The first blood made it work, and it was so. It's interesting. The first blood is what made that solo Ares work. But at the same time, you pick that solo Ares with the mentality and the game plan to get the first blood. You don't just pick it and play your game and hope that you wind up with the first blood. You force the first blood. Athena was on the right side of the map. They clear out the blue buffs together. They taunt into the change, into the flames, into the damage underneath the tower, and then boom, there it goes. Down goes the Titan. All because of the first blood. It snowballs the Ares into a position where it can actually deal damage. It was so much fun. It was so exciting. It was really a big deal. Silent Reveries. That's actually really funny that you bring that up, because I had actually discussed that yesterday, and I forgot it. I was going to bring the Mellow jersey and clothespin it to here. I will do it next week. I actually forgot. It's really funny. I mean, Star brings up in chat that, like, she was going nuts, and she doesn't really go nuts with stuff like this. That's how exciting it was, and the fans were going crazy. Like, if you ever get a chance to come to these lands, which you absolutely should, HRX is Atlanta, you should come. Like, I get excited, and it's funny because sometimes people accuse me online of, like, being fake or being overexcited. I'm just this much of a nerd, and, like, I get excited, but then you turn around, like, so you're watching this, you're getting excited, you're like, they pick an Ares. We're going to see an Ares support Athena solo. That's really cool. We get the battleground. It's like, what? Solo Ares? And then you go, like, they get the kill. They go for the kill, and I'm making the call. I'm like, chains, and the crowd yells. And I'm like, chains, and the crowd yells. I'm like, chains, and the crowd's yelling. And I'm just like, I'm being lifted up by the crowd. And the crowd did the casting in that game. Like, the crowd did the casting in that game. You want to talk about, Hindu Man rocking it. You want to talk about me rocking it? Well, my ego will let you. But realistically, the crowd casted that game. So full disclosure, I actually don't like screaming and yelling like that. I think the yelling guy during esports is kind of a meme that I really try not to play into. But my voice throughout the weekend, I am getting better at stamina. Worlds last year was not a stamina thing. I'm getting better at stamina, being able to talk for literally 8 hours a day. High pressure environment. does stuff to your voice you wouldn't think. And I'm learning, and things like anything that you're going to say in chat, things like honey and all that shit. Yeah, I do that. I'm learning, and I'm talking to, I go to an ENT, special ear, nose, throat doctor, to like try and make this happen. And I'm a singer, so I take some of those like tips from singing and stuff. And we're working on it, right? But finals day, I wasn't 100%. And in order to execute when you're sitting at like 85%, you kind of just got to get loud. And so, like, yeah, it's nuts. And yeah, Mr. Stefan, first of all, Mr. Stefan, oh man, I don't remember if we met. I was about to say we didn't, but I think we did. I don't know. My mind becomes a jumble. There. But I mean, yeah, they have like fisherman friends and stuff. I've tried a little bit of that. There's so many tactics to like preserve your voice. You can gargle salt water. You can eat honey. Like I eat honey by the spoonful, right? Drinking hot lemonade is an old theater trick. Just plain warm water with lemon. Leave the tea at home. Like, not talking. Fisherman's friend. I have this spray. I actually have this spray on me because this is my go bag. Singer's soothing throat spray, right? It's Singer's Saving Grace. The ingredients are like tree bark and like exoskeleton of a bee. Like it tastes like a hippie's foot, but for the next 15 minutes, your voice sounds perfect. It's kind of really nuts. So it's kind of funny, but it actually works. But at the end of the day, nothing is better than just becoming better at controlling your own spectrum and not losing your vocal cords. So a lot of people enjoyed the cast, which at the end of the day is the only thing that matters. But I am always looking, and so thank you. There have been a lot of kind words, both online and said to me personally, about the commentary in summer finals. Hindu Man and I rarely get a chance to commentate together, and when we do, I love it. I think we sound good together, and I think we have a good balance. As far as the actual like mechanics of commentary, I think I could have done better. I'm always looking to improve, but fuck it, finals were awesome. Right, Mr. Stefan? Hell yeah. So, like, you gotta experience these lands. You really do. Mr. Stefan hit the nail on the head. He went to DreamHack. If you have the opportunity, I understand, especially for those in Europe, it can be expensive to travel and make it all the way to Atlanta. But if you can do it, you got to come to a LAN. It's just a completely different feeling than watching it online. I mean, watching online, even if you have friends watching at home, it's one thing to just sit there and like be in Twitch chat and like spam PogChamp. It's another thing altogether to actually fucking be there and scream and get pizza dropped on you and have a caster spit on you. And I did that to some poor kid. It's a completely different experience. And there's also that if you've never gone to like not just an esports LAN, but a sporting event or a music convention or something, right? There's the mentality of even if you are shy, even if you're not that extrovert, you turn around and Ares gets picked. And then that solo lane play, taunt into the chains, you turn to the guy next to you and you're like, yeah, man, fucking Ares, dude, high five. And you don't know this guy. You don't know that girl, but you're hugging because that shit was dope. And then Dignitas win in 5 and you're going nuts. And the guy behind you is going nuts. And the guy in front of you is going nuts. You can't bottle that. You can't make that shit up. You can put it on YouTube. You can put it on a podcast. You can slap it on a t-shirt and you can buy a new piece of swag. But it doesn't convey the emotion and the feeling of being live in that environment. It's just like, it's completely, it's so incredible. Like, it's, yeah, like Mr. Stefan said, everybody's a sweaty nerd. Everybody there is there for the same reason, you know? And the guy or the girl next to you might not know all the intricacies of the stats, but they love ataraxia. And the dude across the street getting pizza, he might not know, who wound up first or who wound up in second, but they like the way Zeros plays Morgan. And there's something to talk about, especially when it comes to HRX, bro. Tickets are on sale, HRX. Just go to like Stu's Twitter or some shit. And you can buy tickets. Go to like highriskstudios.com. I don't have the link right now. Maybe somebody will put it in the chat. Score one. High-res F dot, right? Actually was fun to talk to at the summer finals. We got to talk to a lot of people, actually, when it came to summer finals. Valencia was really cool. I'm trying to think of who I hung out with after hours. So day 3, there was this bar, Meltdown, and this was so I generally like don't go out during I'm a rich mod. I generally don't go out. Oh, there it is. There's the tickets. Sorry, we'll give I'm a rich mod's a friend of mine. We'll give him permission. Where's I don't know how to make this work. Here you go, Tyler. Boom! Look at that. 30 seconds quick. So it's definitely a lot of fun to go and see. So I generally I'm responsible, or I pretend to be, when I have an engagement. Day 1, I cast. Maybe I go out for like, and usually I'm chilling with the casters for day 1, because day 1 is like, so actually let me break down how these trips go. So especially when we're moving time zones, we get there a couple of days in advance just so we're not like a zombie. If you watched, so I was watching Magic Pro Tour Kyoto this weekend, and they got there like a day before. U.S. casters going to Kyoto, everybody looks like they're stoned as hell. Their eyes are like super red. They're just like, hello and welcome to Magic the Gathering, because they're all like super jet lagged out, right? So we avoid that by showing up a couple of days earlier, and that means we also get to hang out, which is sweet. God bless too. And then, day 0, like the day before the show, we all have come to Jesus and we meet up together. We're like, all right, so what's going on? How's the flow? How's the show going to run? Obviously, we've practiced and we've rehearsed and we've done all this stuff beforehand, but it's our last, like, everybody get it? We all good? And so it's the last moment where you can really do that. And so we generally like get together, all the players, they get read the rules, which they already heard, but you got to hear the rules again. Commentators get together and we see the flow. Okay, Tom, you're going to be casting game number 1. You're going to do interviews for game number 2. Agro's going to be stage host. Taco's going to be stage host 2. Game number 2, you're going to be doing the interviews. Then you're going to be running the caster. Agro's going to run point. He's going to toss the video. Like, these are all things that you just sort of have to get in your brain. And so you've been reading them on the plane. You've been reading them in the hotel. But, like, that's the final, like, you get it, 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 you got it, good. And then you generally, like, you're out early-ish, like 4, 5, 6, and you chill and you just take it super easy. You don't go, you just take it super easy. Even the party animals tend to take it relatively easy. Then day number 1 happens, and you're just, like, jacked up on adrenaline. You're just like, oh, shit, here it comes. Oh, my God. And it was really cool because we had Taco and Toli who had never traveled before. And I don't know if Agro's traveled before, but, like, I mean, the guy used to interview Major League Baseball players. Like, oh, well, he's like, super bougie, so whatever. But Taco and Toli, it was their first time traveling, at least for Toli had traveled with esports to play before, obviously. And Taco has done some traveling with respects to, like, poker, I think. But as far as, like, being a part of the commentary staff and putting on a show like this, very different story. And so, like, you get to the venue and you're there and you're early and you're just like, shit, I want my thing to start. Let's go. And then nothing matches that feeling, because it's not even your show, right? The players are putting on the show. You're just kind of there. But nothing matches that feeling that when you sit there, the lights come up and you hear in your headset, all right, you're live in 3, 2. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Smite Pro League. My name's Dick and Butt, and we got a fantastic game for you today. And you just, like, whatever you did at your desk, whatever you did last night, whatever you did during the rest of the split doesn't fucking matter. Whatever's mistake, like, it's you're just there live. And the crowd's just like, okay, let's make something happen. And then you're just sort of, like, doing your job, right? But it's you there's, like, an energy, there's, like an electricity in the air. And then as you do it, right? Somebody picks something spicy on the pick and ban screen, or first blood happens, and you don't just hear the crowd, you feel the crowd, because it rumbles, man. Bro, there's no other, like, ask the players that have played at LAN, there's like no other comparable feeling. It's nutso. And you just like, you just take off from there. It's it's pretty crazy. And so like day one, you get that adrenaline rush where you're just like, oh, this is what it's gonna be like. Okay, here we go. We get it. And you do your show and it seems like a blur. It just goes, day one always goes by super fast. And then it's like 7 or 8 p.m. Everybody's mad tired. And you're just like, okay, we did it. Nothing went on fire. And even if it did, you fix that. Nothing went on fire. And okay, awesome, excellent. There we go. And then day two, so like I said, you generally like take it easy. You'll have dinner, maybe a couple of drinks with the crew, but nobody really goes ham on day one. And then you do day two, and day two is more real, where it's like less. Day one, you've kind of float, jacked up on adrenaline. Day two, you're like chilling and doing your thing, and things don't slug by, but it's more of a normal, natural pace. And when you're on stage, it's dope. When you're off stage, you're just trying to conserve all your energy, and you know that's how that works. The end of day two, it's really really tempting to go out and go nuts. The rookies go out and go nuts, and thankfully our crew didn't do that. Shout outs to Totally Taco and Agro for being responsible individuals. Because it's very tempting to just be like, well, clearly I've done it once. I've done it twice. I can go get wasted and do it again. No, you can't. 2013, 2014, 2015, me know all about that. No, I'm just kidding. Sort of. But there is a balance there. So me, I like to pretend to be responsible, and I only go out the last day of the event. What I do is during the middle of the event, I like to show face. I think it's really important that because during as the event goes on, you hear rumblings. Oh, what's going on after the event? Oh, we're all going to a club called Meltdown. Well, okay. You figure out where all the fans are gonna go, bruh. Make no bones. Like I said, this show is what started me. What up, A-Rock? This is like we got a new setup. We got a whole new thing, but we started in 2012. We started in 2013, 2012 with a little webcam on front of my computer going like, I like Smite, do you? Right? I'm just a member of the community. These days I get a paycheck with it too. That's dope. But I'm still, the fact that I exist is because of the people that show up at LAN. So when LAN time comes around, listen, I don't go get lit. I don't get lit, but I go and I hang out and I go see everybody, and I'll have a drink with whomst ever. We'll chill. That's what it's all about. But then day three, we raging. The end of the show, we are raging, and that's exactly what we did. We had a lot of fun in Valencia, just hanging out with fans that. That's what's fun is that like you're just hanging out, and then all of a sudden somebody's like, "Oh yeah, I'm Ependary from Twitch chat." I'm like, "You're Ependary?" Well, actually, the real Ependary. I'm like, "You're Ependary?" Because homie's like 8 feet tall. But like you meet these people that you know them from Twitch or whatever, and like all of a sudden you're just like hanging out. That's the cool part about going to LAN. Duh, the games are cool. But you got to go to like chill with the homies. Like that's what it's about. And that's what's fun. And like that's really awesome. And so like that's where we were having a lot of fun. Like, day three. Shit, what do we do day three? I don't know. My point is we had a lot of fun. And everybody should generally come through to these LANs. Because you wake up in the morning and you hate waking up. You go to the show is awesome, the games are sick, you take pictures with your favorite players and casters, and then at night, the party's sick, you take pictures with your favorite players and casters, and then you do it all over again for as many days as the show goes on. HRX is like 5 days, Valencia was 3 days, like that's how it works, man. Like that's how it works. So it's really yeah. Yet Fisher, I don't like you. So I'm not going to be nice to you. That's how that works, buddy. That's another thing. So that's actually really funny that Get Fisher brings that up in chat. So before I went to Spain, the Poppies didn't like me very much. I don't think this is a secret. Okay? Like, they don't, and so before I get into the Poppies, like, talking about Get Fisher, like, I am me. This is the dude that you see on camera, that you see on stream, that you see on the street. Like, I am me. Now, when I'm on the SPL desk, I'm not like, my vernacular might change and I might hide my accent a little bit more. But at the end of the day, you do that shit too. It's called code switching. It's a part of life. You don't go to work at Verizon like, hey, yo, what's goody? What's your password, homie? You go, hey, sir, how are you today? May I have your password? And I'll take a look at your account and get you right sorted. Doesn't matter what the hell's going on. You're working at a restaurant. You're not like, yo, what you trying to eat tonight? What you doing? You're like, hello, sir. Welcome to Applebee's. What can I get you? Are you thirsty? That's like how life works, right? That's how it is. That's how it is. Shout outs to Fats in the chat. Day one, Twitch cops rolling through. That's my guy. A1 day one, now with a fancy badge. But like, that's how it is. But at the end of the day, I'm still the same motherfucker that you see here, over there. And so, if I don't like you on stream or in game, like, because and I'm not trying to single out Get Fisher this time, there have been multiple players that like talk smack or a certain type of way, and then they come to LAN and they're like, "What's up, F dot?" And I'm like, "Drelo, I hate you. Like, get away from me." Right? In my professional life, you got to separate that. I'm never gonna cast a certain way about a certain player because I dislike them or something, but I don't have to like you at the soda machine. I don't got to be nice to you at the bar. And I sure as shit don't owe you a damn sentence past that. At all. So that's what made me laugh when I got to Spain. So a year and a half, 2 years ago, was it really that long ago? I'm making that up. It was probably just last year. The Poppies, who are in the SPL now, they'll be going to relegation, right? They come up and they go to relegation and then they lose. And they come up to relegation and then they lose. And they come up to relegation and then they lose. And so I tweeted, the Poppies, professional relegation losers. Right? And, whoa, the entire country of Spain blew up. It was like, oh my goodness, you said the wrong thing. I don't know if it was lost in translation. I didn't call them losers. Like, I wasn't saying, like, oh, you're a loser. I was saying, like, they come to relegation and they lose every single time. Because that's the truth, right? And so, when it comes down to it, that statement wasn't personal. It wasn't da-da-da-da. But they took it personally. And there was just some big, oh my God. I got death threats on Twitter. I got people would come in my Twitch stream and just slander me. Like, it wasn't last split Silent Reveries. This goes back to, I think my tweet was from 2016. And it goes all, and they're just like yelling at me and this, that, and a third. And like, I made that tweet like a year ago and it would still be quoted. Saying like, oh, F dot, puta, all this shit. And I got more than a couple of death threats and like we were joking around. I don't really give a shit. Like, I'm going to be there with security. Like, you're not going to come in with a weapon. And if you're going to step to me, like, so I was waiting for some sort of nonsense to pop off. The correct definition of pop off. I was waiting at all points in time for something to just go nuts, right? And like, that's not what happened. Instead, the Spanish fans, and I understand that generalizations don't work and it's always the vocal minority. So all the people that were talking shit probably didn't come to Valencia because everybody that I ran into was super nice. Yo, can I get a picture? Yo, can I get an autograph? Yo, your casting's awesome. Smite rules. Thank you so much for coming to Spain. That's what I heard the most. Thank you so much for coming to Spain. At no point in time was I like, oh no, I'm gonna get in trouble. So shout outs to all the Spanish fans. But that just goes to that is how it is. Like I am, I was expecting some sort of thing to happen, but not gonna be the thing. So I really enjoyed the Spanish fans, and that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed everything. So where are we at right now? I think it's time. We have. So if y'all don't know, if you guys are new to the show, basically we're starting something new. You can jump into Discord and sit in and put yourself in the FPL waiting room, right? That's where we're going to be able to. Sorry, I don't have a mute button. We're gonna get people in, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the summer finals. Whether you want to talk about the summer finals or Valencia specifically, you want to ask me questions, or you just want to have a conversation about the split. That's kind of what we're gonna rock. So right now, I only have Get Fisher in here. Is there anybody else at all? Anybody at all? Reaper 33 shows up, but Get Fisher was first, so I will pull Get Fisher in here. I gotta put my headphones on for this kid. Oh, and it should go without saying, if you come into my chat and you start screaming the N-word or something stupid, I'm going to, ban you for life from everything that you hold dear. That's, that should be a given at this point. How do I know how to do this. I'm doing something different. I got to do this. I want to be able to look at this and this at the same time. I love how descriptive I'm being, so you guys have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. I'm basically just trying to situate my desktop so I can actually see stuff. So... here comes Get Fisher. He is technically a professional player for Smite, so let's see what he has to say. I can unmute him as well, and there we go. Mike the Magic Carp, a.k.a. Get Fisher. What's goody, man?
Yeah, what's up? Mike, I was going to talk about Challenger Cup. Is that, good for now, or is that for the free-for-all?
It's for the free-for-all, but you know what? You're here now. We'll let you riff. What's up?
Yeah, I was going to say, because, obviously that's been, a hot topic right now, about everyone having a bit of beef with the Challenger Cup and the way it works. I was wondering what you think about it and what you think could be improved. I know what I want improved, but
word. Sweet. So the Challenger Cup. I'll be honest with you. I am not involved with the Challenger Cup. As a Pro League caster, I cast a Pro League. I'm not involved in league operations at all. I'm not in those meetings. I'm not invited to those meetings. So how it works. I mean, I understand the Challenger. You have the big weekly tournaments that feed into the Challenger circuit, that feed into the Pro League. And I don't know as far as prize pool is concerned, or this, that, or a third, but I understand that there is a sort of carrot on a stick, and a lot of players are unhappy with the reward system. Is that, I guess my question is, I understand the basics of it. Why are people relatively unhappy?
Well, there's two things, really. The first is that, you get $50, regardless of where you place. People don't like that at all. So it's not rewarding to
Well, isn't the reward getting into the Smite Pro League?
Well, yeah, but it's that's all there is.
Yeah, and I mean that's a pretty damn good reward.
Yeah, and I get that that's a good reward, but it just feels bad for the teams that aren't at the top two. I don't know.
That's life, sweetie.
I mean, that's not my main issue with it. That's a lot of people's main issue with it.
So let me tell you an anecdote real quick, and then you can tell me everything. My cousin is a gym teacher. Now, he's in his 30s. For his entirety of his 20s, he played AAA baseball. The way baseball works in America, you have the Major League Baseball with the fucking Yankees, right? And then you have minor league, which is split into A, AA, AAA. AAA is the top. That is essentially your, single A would be your, weekly tournament. AA would be your, Challenger circuit. AAA would be your, second Challenger circuit. And you got to make your way all the way up. He was one of the best players in AAA baseball. He made $10,000 a year. That's not sustainable. He had to work 2 jobs on top of that to just rent a single room apartment. Now, he continued to do it because that was his dream. That was his goal. It wasn't about the money. It was about playing baseball. And $10,000 a year that's a lot more than $50. I understand that, but it's also, you know, in what's it called? There's a lot more money in baseball, so there's a lot more money giving down to the players. You understand the trickle down system. So what I'm saying is that, like, this guy is if at the top of baseball outside of being professional, and he's making basically $0, and that's just how that goes. Like, I'm sure that there are better ways to handle the situation, and I am not saying that the official high-risk stance, and the gotcha army out there, this is to you, I'm not saying that the official high-risk stance is go fuck yourself. But at the end of the day, like, there's no guarantee you're not making enough money. Like, that's how that works. Like, that is how that works for anybody chasing a dream. Now, you're going to make a lot more money if you go and you like are an accountant or something. But, you know, that's the trade-off, right? So when it comes down to the reward system and saying that, like, they don't get paid enough, I personally, again, not representing high-res here, I personally don't have any sympathy, because the reward is making it into the Smite Pro League, where theoretically you can sustain yourself, and that becomes a big deal, and there are other conversations that have to do with that. But at the end of the day, like I said, AAA baseball, you ain't making any money either. But as soon as you make it in the Pro League, kabam. The goal is not the money. The goal is the Pro League invitation, whether it's baseball, American football, or a smaller esport like Smite. It's not about, I can't play in the Challenger Cup because it's not worth it. It doesn't fill my pocket. I should be working instead. If that's your attitude, yeah, go get a fucking job. But it's about making it into the Pro League. So the $50, I personally have no sympathy for. But you said that there was something else that bothered you.
Yeah, I don't like the lack of promotion. That's my general beef. Like, it's no one knows like anything about the Challenger Cup. Like, people barely even know when relegations is. Like,
that's fair.
I have to go to Twitter and like ask the players if I want to know where relegation is.
That's fair.
I don't think that's good.
That's fair, and that's something that, yes, I think high-res could step up a little bit. You know, myself included, sure. But for what it's worth, so the Challenger Cup has been run by different people in the past, whether it's been Tier Monster
right now,
FPL, or Face It or whatever, right? Tier Monster and I don't want to get nobody in trouble here, but Tier Monster has been invited to like write. They have been invited to like write recaps that we will put on the website. We've done that before, and then they just stop coming. And the players don't do any promotion by themselves. And not saying that is their responsibility, but of course that's also, it's a push and a pull, right? Like,
there's also not much of a following for the players, so it doesn't help as much.
You got to create your own following. You know, I mean. How many professional Vainglory players do you know?
0.
Exactly, because they don't put in the work. How many professional Counter-Strike players do you know?
1, because he's got Get in his name. It's the Get right.
All right, you're the wrong person to ask. But my point is, and the biggest variable there is the fact that those esports are two very different, the audiences are much larger. But the point is that they got there somehow, right? I mean, there is the idea that the league puts forth an effort and the players put forth an effort, and there's also the idea that that you know, there's a limited pool of resources and you got to promote the Pro League. I don't think anybody, Challenger Cup players included, would argue that the Challenger Cup should get more coverage than the Pro League.
No, obviously not.
And I will agree.
I don't even think it should be on high-res TV, but I think it should be like tweeted out on the Smite Pro account or something.
I
agree.
At the
very least.
Yeah, I agree. And these are some of the steps. These are some of the steps that like the esports team has made. It's or are making, etc. You know, when it comes down to it, you know, I think I can admit that we are not perfect, and the Challenger Cup is probably someplace that we can do more work for, and it's something that we have increased in the past, and like the dealing with the intricacies of where it's at right now is tough, but manageable, and that's certainly a thing. What frustrates me is the expectation. Yes, I think high-res could put forth a bigger footstep, but we don't need to. It's the Challenger Cup for a reason. You'll get paid and you'll get your spotlight when you make it to the Pro League. The Challenger Cup, you should be working for the Pro League. So in closing, I think that I can agree with you that, yeah, I'd like to see some more spotlight on the Challenger Cup, and maybe that's something that we can do pushing forward, especially understanding the revamp, because of course this was a giant revamp, right? With the 3 separate leagues, the Challenger circuit. Did it work? Yes. Now how can we promote it? Because I mean, you don't want to go, all right, let's try this experiment, promote the hell out of it, and then watch it fail in front of your eyes with 10,000 viewers, right? So we tried it, it's working, and now we know that we can promote it. So I think that's sort of like step 2 of this process of creating, because being able to follow the Challenger League is much better than having to follow a weekly tournament. I think everybody can agree that the 3-league system, open bracket, Challenger Pro, I think everybody can agree that's a positive, correct?
Yeah, it's way better, for sure.
Exactly.
Like, it would always be that the finals in old Challenger Cup would be really not as good as they could be, because everyone was already playing for about 6 hours.
Yeah.
Against teams that they never had a chance of beating them.
Exactly. And then for some reason, randos make it through because 2 weeks Zapman was sick or something, and so this system was put into place, and that was step 1 of improving the Challenger system. And now step 2, now that we've seen that it works, now we can promote it a little bit more with confidence, that we're not going to be promoting something that's going to fall flat. So I think going forward, you should see a little bit more promotion of the Challenger Cup. And again, I don't want to speak for Hi-Rez officially, but I have spoken to some of the people about that, and there are excitements about kind of boosting that. So I think that's something that you should look forward to in the future, man.
Yeah, that's all I want to say. So
sweet. Thanks for calling up. I'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Awesome. We have a couple other people here in the waiting room. Again, I wanted to speak specifically about the summer. Mike went off. Oh, well. We'll talk to Reaper, and then we'll talk to LHS, and then I'll move on a little bit to the energy situation. So Reaper's in chat. Falling into Black is what he goes by name in chat. Hey, what's up, Reaper? How's it going? Oh, I got to actually unmute him. I'm the king. Oh, I magically did that with my fingers from across the room. What's up, Reaper? How's it going, buddy?
Going pretty well. How about yourself?
Not bad. What you got in your mind?
Well, so seeing Rival and Dignitas play it out in the finals, that was a fantastic set, by the way. Loved it. I loved every minute of it. Every time something like that happens, though, with one team goes up 2-0, the other ties it up, it flashes me back to Titan.
Yeah.
From Season 1 Worlds, it's just like, oh. And they did it with Ares, too, which I find hilarious.
That is really funny, yeah. Going back to Season 1, Ares scared the hell out of LG, Barracuda's team, they were Cloud9 at the time, and they were, winning, and then Titan comes back and almost wins because of an Ares pick, and then, well, Barracuda stomped them. But, yeah, there was a lot of... the script writers certainly earned their pay that weekend at Summer Finals, for sure.
Oh, that's great. Well, yeah. I love seeing you and Hindu Man cast, especially together. That made the final set so much better. Was just my 2 favorite casters and top level Smite. How much better can it get?
I mean, thank you for the kind words, but those are the games that the games I have to really work hard for are the shitty ones. When it's
yes.
When it's Justice versus who gives a shit. Those are the ones where you're like, man, this is tough. Watching Dignitas versus Rival, I mean, that game casts itself. I'm just sort of there to be the like the Exorcist, and just sort of open my mouth and the game comes through. So thank you for the kind words, but those are the ones where the players put on the show themselves.
Indeed. Indeed, that does seem to be the case a lot of the time. So, about Maniac's move to NRG.
Ooh, spicy.
Who do you? The question becomes, who's Obey gonna get?
That's interesting. I'm glad you asked that question. I'm going to cut you off here. Nice to talk to you, Reaper. I'll catch you next time, buddy. I'm glad you asked that question. because that's exactly where I'm going to go next. I think there are a lot of options. Before I hit that one in full, our very own guy on the left, a.k.a. the other guy, a.k.a. the host of the least, a.k.a. the guy that brings me a phone charger every now and then, Zach, is here as well. I'll go ahead and unmute him. Oh, well, no, there we go. Okay, LHS. What's good, bud?
Hey, yo. What's up, man?
What up, man? How's it going?
It's going well. I want to leave. I want to leave the office, but I can't because the show's happening, and I don't want to miss it. So I'm just sitting here at my desk.
Are you still like in community?
Yeah. I'm still sitting in community right now.
Is anybody there with you?
No, they all left.
Get wrecked. That's so funny. So what's up, dude? You want to talk about the summer finals or something? Or you just
I do want to talk about summer final. So, low key, how important was it for Trifecta to get that one win over NRG?
I think it was actually really, really important for Trifecta to get that win, because if Trifecta leaves that LAN with absolutely nothing to hang their hat on, then they go home and who knows what happens. And also on the flip side, I thought I was going to sneeze, but I didn't. Also on the flip side, NRG, how do I put this? Sometimes you need to kick somebody in the balls for them to get heated enough to actually make it happen. NRG's that team. NRG's that team. So Trifecta needed to know for themselves that they could make it happen. They needed to see, yes, this is doable. And then NRG needed to like get kicked and be like, oh, all right, we'll step it up.
Yeah, because I mean, Trifecta was one of those teams where we looked at they were flirting with that step to like making, taking the next step to be a great team. Like we compared them like a lot with SOAR, with Space Station Gaming, and Space Station looked like they had figured out, whereas Trifecta really didn't. And then I feel at the end, Trifecta, especially picking up Kiki, I mean that was impressive, and it showed that NA still got a little bit of fight left in them. They still definitely don't have the same. I honestly, I feel like watching the summer finals, what really cemented, EU over NA wasn't necessarily the mechanical skill, because I mean we saw Trifecta, who was not necessarily the strongest NA team,
right?
But they could hang mechanically with NRG. It was picking bans and strategy that way that really NA fell behind. I mean, if you look at the LG Obey game, they tried to really target Ban and Millsy out. You can't target Ban and Millsy as a support. I mean, that's silly.
Yeah,
and that's something that LG struggled with forever.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was really, honestly, I think of it in the other direction, where I think it was actually really important for, sure, we finally, we all know that EU is better than NA this year. We get that. We got that memo. We filed it away under A for accurate, and that was that. What was interesting was the other side, was seeing the positive side of the North America play. Kiki is that good. He is that good. I was sitting with some pro players, I won't mention any names, and we're watching Trifecta, and they're like, Odin sucks, but Kiki's the best Odin in the world, so they're going to win this fucking game. And that's exactly what they did. Kiki himself played his pants off, and I think that there was a lot of questions about Kiki in particular. He's played a whole bunch of positions, and recently he hasn't had much to write home about. If you're a Kiki fan at home, I think this LAN really made it happen.
I mean, whoever said Odin sucks, I mean, and Kiki being the best, I mean, you got to look at Twig. I mean,
I said, I wasn't going to mention any names, and I didn't intentionally. Because I'm
just saying.
I already see Emilzy saying, and hey, it wasn't just North American players; there were EU players there as well. And I actually remember specifically, they're like, "Yo, Odin sucks." And they're like, "I wouldn't say sucks, but why not Osiris? Why not Bologna? Right?" That was the conversation. Yeah. It wasn't straight up like, Odin's the worst. It was definitely like there were other selections, and they don't have to go those other selections because Kiki's playing his face off. So that was the game plan.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
I think I misrepresented the conversation, but
because you look at Odin, I mean, Obey's entire. I mean, I hyped it up as well. The double warrior comp that Odin into whatever the hell Maniac wanted to play. It was just so strong. And then going up against Rival let him have that first game, and then they was like, no, we're not letting you have that ever again.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts. Hey, how about I'm going to let you lead us into the next topic. All right, you ready, Mr. Hostman?
I am ready. You want me to lead us into the Maniac discussion?
Yeah. Give me your hot take, and then I'll boot you from the channel. Give me your hot take on Maniac joining NRG. Good, bad, in between, other.
As far as NRG picking up Maniac, I can't think of any better play. I mean, of course, you've got like the Death Walkers and all that, variety. If you could pry them away from the teams, and I feel like it's important that we're seeing Maniac go to this team because he has been playing at such a high level. His entire game has been revived through Obey, and the most important part about this is Obey losing Maniac. But then Dimmy staying with NRG is the biggest aspect of that because Obey's not gaining anybody. Obey is strictly losing, and NRG is both gaining somebody, but also they're not losing anybody. They're not losing Dimmy. I mean, they're replacing Gorgonzola, but I feel like Dimmy's just hands down going to be the better coach there just because he's been around the game. And NRG's going to have a respect for Dimmy that they're not going to have for anybody else. So the biggest thing about this is Obey. Who the hell do they bring in for solo? It's mind-boggling. Can they catch lightning in a bottle twice by reviving some old player? I mean, is Zalia going to be the next solo laner for Obey? I mean, it's so crazy to think about what Obey is going to do in here. And NRG is playing, the mind games, and they are such a step up because of this.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. I absolutely agree. I'll expand on that as well. That is, for those of you unfamiliar with the voice, that is Zach Dickerson, the Zach Dick on Twitter. He helps us out. He's the budget Bart that you see on our broadcast occasionally. You're going to be with us on Sunday, right?
Oh, yeah, I'll be there. It'll be my last thing I do before I leave for the rest of the year.
Well, hell yeah. We'll see you then. Until then,
all right.
Get the fuck up. That was LHS. What a good guy. He said he must have watched my YouTube video. I got a YouTube video on this, youtube.com/f.ny. That's exactly what I said, basically. I'm going to say the same thing in my own words and try to bait Emilzy into coming into Mumble and or Discord and telling us who's going to join his team. Because I have no clue who the hell is going to join his team. Basically, that's the key there is the fact that they have NRG has essentially shortened the list of viable players. They have taken the list of players and went and just lowered it. They took 2 solo laners. And it's like there's like 4 pieces of chicken on the table, right? Everybody gets one. Dignitas gets a piece of chicken. Now there's 3 left, right? Okay. Now, Rival gets a piece of chicken. Nice. Now there's 2 left. Obey and NRG are both eating. Well, guess what? This Popeyes is mine, says NRG. And Obey's sitting there like, can I at least get some blackened ranch? Like, I got nothing here, man. And what it comes down to is like, what do? Well, they got to go around the block and find some budget, like, Kennedy fried chicken. Shout out to anybody that's been to the Bronx. Kennedy Fried Chicken is a place. You got to go get some budget chicken. Zalia's not black and spicy. Zalia's not number 1. You're not looking at no numbers to carry the world. Who replaces Maniac? Somebody not as good as Maniac. But you know what? This happened the last time. I'm back. This happened the last time. They lost a solo laner. Variety. Oh my God. Player of the year. How can you replace Variety? Nobody can replace it. Obey are screwed. We're never going to see them win again. Well, they got Maniac literally from the dead. Okay, not literally, but you know what I'm saying. Like, they made it happen once. And if lightning can strike twice anywhere, it's with the Titan boys. Prime and Ataraxia have made it second at finals with so many different players. It's just that finding somebody to replace Maniac is going to be tough. I have faith in the Obey guys. But the fact that we're talking about this, Confrey tied up says in chat, I don't think they want Confree. But what it comes down to is that when you look at these guys, when you look at these players, one of the biggest things is Ataraxia in its prime, right? So, it's one of those things that, like, you gotta understand that these guys are going to be able to attract the talent. There are teams out there. I won't mention names because I think that's unfair to the players that are dickheads that aren't publicly known as dickheads. There are teams out there that might have a harder time attracting talent because the way that they work isn't nice, or they aren't the easiest to hang out with. Everybody wants to hang out with Prime and Ataraxia. I have no problem letting that one go. I will say, Emilzi's in chat saying that they've scrimmed NRG, and they haven't lost yet. So NRG snakes their solo laner, also keeps their old solo laner, and they still can't win. Something to be said about that. Emilzi's in chat confirming it's not Confree or Zindern. I didn't think he had to confirm that. It's also not Aggro. It's also not Hindu Man. I don't think those two were even in the conversation. Kodomius brings up a really good point. We're all assuming they need a solo. But what about somebody on Obey changing roles to solo and filling the missing spot? Oh, it's Hindu Man! Surprise! That's my Hindu Man impression! The key to doing a good Hindu Man impression is to always be out of breath. That's the key. But Hindu Man will be playing in the solo position. Ron Jobbert, well, we've ruled out 4 players. Yeah. And it totally might be an option. Homie's going to move over to Europe. Real talk, I think my realistic situation is Zelia could be an option mechanically, but I don't think personalities will mesh. No numbers, maybe they'll be able to snake him from Elevate. There's probably 1 or 2 Challenger Cup players that I'm not well aware of, that I'm not versed enough to really evaluate. And the role switch is definitely a thought process. Twig's already changed roles once. Maybe he goes to solo and they find a jungler. Ataraxia is not changing. Pretty Prime's not changing. Big Man Tings ain't changing. Zashu? Holy shit. Okay. Living Electric, the Dark Doodoo, put him nowhere near a championship caliber team. I'm sorry. Zashu, though, Frezzy goes in the same conversation as Dark Dodo. Sorry, I actually really like Dark Dodo, but I'm really harsh on him because he's not very good at the game. But Zashu, on the other hand, woo! Zashu is unbanned. Zashu, Wizardy Wiz says Twig to solo, Cherio to jungle. That might be the winner. That might be the fucking winner. Oh my god. That might be the winner. Emilzi's telling us that Zashu isn't the choice because if he gets banned one more time, he's permabanned. He didn't exactly say he's not the choice, but he says Zashu gets banned one more time, he's permabanned. I think that says it all. So he's basically telling us that's not the choice. But somebody clip Wizardy Wiz. I'm going to take full credit for this later on if y'all don't do it. Wizardy Wiz says Twig to solo, Cherio to jungle. I'm going to scream this from the rooftops, and if nobody calls me out, I'm going to claim it as my own hot take. I'm tweeting it right now. But I think that's the do. Twig Ependary says Twig won't go solo. I mean, that is the only. Ataraxia is not going solo because nobody's letting him play Sylvana solo. Okay, that's just not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. So, Emil's is in a 22-minute rank queue. Good. I hope it's 40 minutes so you come on Discord with us and explain everything. I don't know. That's Ataraxia with the Giannis solo. Divios. That's a funny throwback. If you guys are newer to the Smite scene, Divios at Kickoff LAN before the Pro League existed for Cognitive Red, before they were Cognitive Red, they were a bunch of 14-year-old dudes. It was Ionic. It was Cog Red. It was Cog Red before they were TSM. Ionic and all those young kids. Giannis is not even played. Forget about the mid lane. Divios pulls him out in the solo lane and kills everybody. If Ataraxia goes solo, I would leave the team. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Hindu man just calling random shit for safety. Jermaine to obey, Ataraxia to solo. Game Hunter to ADC. Nate to mid. Prime to solo. Do I sound like I'm driving an F1 car? Do I sound like I love soccer, or excuse me, football? Footy. Gonna have a gander at the Barney at the footy club. Oi, mate. Oi. All right, now I sound like a bogan. That's a different story. That always happens. Where I do the English accent, I nail it at first, then it gets terrible, and then I turn Australian. So I'm just gonna quit while I'm ahead. So Energy getting Maniac. I talked about the other side, and the YouTube video is really where I hit this hard, so I'm just going to touch upon it. YouTube.com/F.NY. Give me a sub. I actually really applauded Energy for this play, because it was a big boy play. It was an outside of the lines play. It was a true meta game play. Meta means the game outside of the game, not the de facto rule set. They played the SPL, not Smite. They got a solo laner, and they shortened the list of solo laners that Obey could grab. That's great. I loved it. I thought it was cool. I really did. Reaper's in the waiting room. We're going to talk to him. He's falling into black in chat. We're going to talk to him before I move on to something that's going to get me very angry. So we're talking to Reaper about the Energy move to Mania. He actually started us with the topic. So what's up, Reaper? One more time. How you doing, bud?
Doing pretty well. You want to bring someone back from the dead? Give Obey Game Hunter.
We already seen him come back from the dead. It's like Cujo 2. The dog already came up and died again. He played for a team that's irrelevant, and he was equally irrelevant. It was kind of depressing, actually. So,
yeah, Confree's not happening. Confree is just no.
Yeah, no, Confree's not happening. I don't know who they could drag. Oh, by the way, guys, you can join Discord if you guys want to talk about this. Sorry, you can join Discord if you guys want to talk. There it is, and we'll drag you in. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't. Who's your guess, Reaper? Who do you think is coming through?
I mean, I don't see Azalea. Shot in the dark, Vastricol.
Oh, wow.
Off of New Game Plus.
Wow. Okay. All right. You know what? I won't shoot you down. I won't shoot you down for Vastricol. I mean, again, you're hoping that lightning strikes twice here, but if anybody can make that happen, it's going to be Prime and Ataraxia. But I mean, I don't know about Vastricol. It's Night Shadow. It is not Sun Touch. I'm going to tell you that right now.
No, not Sun Touch.
I don't know. Le Mogao?
I mean, there's Axios.
Yeah, there's Axios. I mean, there's also...
Oh, Lord.
I don't know about that one. But, oh, man. Nuts stuff. What's your... give me your... The most confident. Vastricol was pretty good. Give me your last piece on this before we move on.
Last piece on who it could be. I mean, they could try to steal Ducky from Enix, or no numbers from Elevate.
Yeah, that's where my mind is as well. Thanks, Reaper. I'm sure we'll talk to you later. Thanks again, man. Catch you later. That's where my mind is. I think that no numbers is probably the most realistic. Ducky a little bit, but I don't know. Ducky is the better player. Can they get him away from Enix, who realistically have a shot at being good, is a different story. People are out there feeling Nika. I don't think Nika is... Nobody's going to... And here's the thing. Nobody's going to fill Maniac's shoes. But how close can you get to it is really the question. And so, you know, I don't think Nika's close enough. I don't think a lot of these players are close enough, unfortunately. Emilzy says numbers greater than Ducky. Is that no numbers confirmed? No, I'm fucking with you. But I think it does have something to say. So, let me get mad. Let me get mad for a second. Esports exists. Take it easy, Emilzy. Thanks for stopping by, buddy. Esports exists because of the players. I think we all can agree. The games are cool, but we watch day in and day out because of the players. The leagues are cool, the teams are neat, but we watch day in and day out because of the players. That's not an esports thing. That's an entertainment thing. That's a competition thing. That's a sports thing. Chess is neat. Chess was dying until Magnus Carlsen came through. 24-year-old European dude that's crushing it. Golf was dying until Tiger Woods came through. And although Tiger Woods not exactly numero uno, Rory McIlroy is making it happen. I'm intentionally picking lower end sports, he says, as the players are paid millions of dollars. I'm intentionally picking these things because the individuals drive these leagues. Basketball was never dying, but LeBron James is helping it out alongside Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. When you look towards baseball, people are saying baseball is dying, and you have Aaron Judge leading the home run league, right? Players are why people show up to watch sports. Players, the individuals, the people, not number 2, the captain Derek Jeter, not number 1, the Raptor Chris Bosh. These are the people that people show up to watch. And in college, that's still the case. Although the college banner, the alma mater, tends to be numero uno. People root for Clemson, the Orange, because that's where they went. Here I'm in the South, the Bible Belt. Welcome to the world where everything is run by college sports, right? The teams, the alma maters, those are important. But the players are important. Now, the NCAA is an organization that runs college sports. And you might be wondering why you haven't seen an NCAA video game in a long time. It's because it's illegal to make an NCAA video game. It's illegal. Because NCAA players that play in college leagues are unable to make any money off of their affiliation with college sports, excuse me. Intentionally didn't say professional there. Now, this goes from anywhere from... So basically what that means is that you're not allowed to be paid to play a sport in college while you play in, like, the college leagues. Now, this extends to not just a salary, which is the most basic, but if your coach buys you dinner, scholarship denied. If you sign an autograph and a fan gives you $5, scholarship denied. You get drunk and somebody buys you a cab to go home, scholarship denied. And apparently, you monetize your YouTube videos, scholarship denied. University of Central Florida, they have a kicker, Donald De La Haze, and he is a YouTuber. He's got a pretty decent-sized channel, and it's a mix between it's an esports players channel. It's half vlogs about him hanging out and meeting girls, and half him going through his training regimen, right? Now, he had monetized his videos because he puts work into them. He's a marketing major. He's marketing himself. This is schoolwork, essentially, is it not? But the NCAA deemed him ineligible because he makes his money via YouTube. You aren't allowed to profit off of your athletic ability. That is the quote. Tobin brings it up. Thank you. So basically, the stance that the NCAA took was, you're only big on YouTube because you're a famous football player in Division I athletics. If you weren't here, you wouldn't be like crushing it on YouTube, which is a whole different conversation. And yes, he was given a chance to not monetize his videos and keep his scholarship. And in my opinion, rightfully so, he said, go fuck yourself. This is, and unfortunately now he has a GoFundMe. He's de-destroying on Twitter. I've retweeted him a zillion times. He has a GoFundMe to go pay his way through college because without a scholarship, he can't do it. He had the opportunity, and was it smart for him to stand up to the man? Probably not. But he wanted to make a point, and I agree with him. And it triggers me so much because the players aren't allowed to make money, but the schools make tons of dough. Last year, University of Central Florida hired a coach. This guy's coach makes $1.7 million over 5 years. He's allowed to make $0. If he makes $1, he gets banned. His coach can make almost $2 million. He can make $0. $0. A lot of people in chat are bringing up the fact that there's like blatant bribery that goes on. Because when it comes down to it, college sports are a big deal. You're a high school senior. You're really good at sports. You're trying to decide what college to go to. Hey, Florida bought your mom a car. But Notre Dame bought your dad a boat. Where do you go? Where do you go? And that's all. We don't know what you're talking about. The idea that these players can't make any money goes back to a long time ago. The NCAA was created in 1906, back when college athletics were strictly extracurricular, strictly intramural, where it's like kind of just for fun, right? And the idea was, all right, y'all are going to school and you happen to play basketball. We'll watch Harvard play Yale and they'll both suck, but somebody will win and that'll be cool. Wouldn't it be neat if we organized this so we can have a tournament or something, right? Sure. That's how it started. And at that moment in time, it made sense for the rules to say players can make $0 because there's a pride in non-professional intramural athletics. There is something to be said about amateur athletes coming out here competing. They are definitely not professional because they don't get paid. Sweet. When it comes down to it, this is over 100 years later. The world is different. There are broadcasting deals in place. The Rose Bowl is watched by more people than watch the NHL Finals. Shout-outs to esports, though. We climbing that ladder. League of Legends #2 in the world. Over the BCS championship. That's college football. Coaches are paid millions of dollars. UCF, his coach, this kicker that got banned, his coach making $1.7 million over 5 years. That's the low end. That's the low end. Ependary, I see it. I just don't care. Oh, you're talking about something different. That's the low end. Hooray! They made an NCAA video game because everybody wants to play as their favorite players. The players are in the video game, but they weren't allowed to make any money off of it. They made this game for years. And then finally somebody spoke up. And the NCAA said, you know what? You got a point. Maybe we should pay. Nah, we'll just scrap the whole thing. Fuck them. Like, okay. That's cool. They're legally not allowed to make NCAA games because the players are legally not allowed to make money off of their likeness. So so when it comes down to this type of thing, this is so silly. Now the NCAA doesn't need any advertising. I get that. Maybe UCF does. Right? Right? What it comes down to is that he's making videos, not just boosting the NCAA, showing how cool it is to play in the NCAA, but he's also boosting his alma mater, the school that he goes to. University of Central Florida. Well, shit, look at this. You know how many people are out there like, man, I wish I was just like Nadeshot. Man, I wish I was just like Jenna Marbles. Man, I wake up every day wishing I was Shundora's. Shouts to Space Station. Well, somebody out there is like, man, I wish I was just like Destroying. I want to go to UCF just like him. That's a reasonable expectation, but the NCAA doesn't see that. The NCAA doesn't see what's going on. The NCAA just doesn't get it. They're stuck in 1906. Or maybe, just maybe, they want to collect all the money for themselves. Now, the idea that players should or should not get paid, they're getting free tuition, not a conversation I want to jump into. But the idea that a player can't make money on the side doing something by himself, practicing an extracurricular skill that can help him throughout his life and apply to his current major at school that he's attending, very much so for sports? Don't get it twisted. Once upon a time, 1910, players were going to school and playing sports on the side. Now, you're playing sports and going to school on the side. And the idea that this should be shut down is ridiculous. It's obscene. And this is why I get mad. Here's the esports tie-in. When players are like, I just don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to stream. I don't want to YouTube. There are people that want to YouTube, and they can't. You're given this platform, and listen, if you can't, you can't. Not everybody has the time or the dedication that that's rude. Not everybody has the time or the materials to do what Final K does. But you're watching the NCAA, outdated, disrespectful, not understanding bullshit piece of just garbage. Ban players for not being able to for making a YouTube channel. Well, then you come down to the world of esports, and that's frankly how players survive. Not every esport pays your bills. So you got a Twitch and you got a YouTube. And that's just part of the life. But not everybody wants to do it. And that's why I get mad. I don't get mad if you just don't do it. I get mad if you complain about it. If you just don't do it and you're like, fuck it, I can't do this. Oh, well. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody's talent. Not everybody has that particular talent. Not everybody has that particular time. Not everybody has that particular drive. So if you just don't take part, sure, I don't care. But it's the people that sit there and go, wow, I streamed to 7 people and then I quit. Bruh. Both sides getting me mad, but this NCAA stuff has just gotten me super aggravated. It's disrespectful to all of the people involved, and it just makes me angry. On the other side, you have these people, like I said, that complain, and this is again, I'm not going to bring names into it. We're on Twitter, so maybe you can find it. But people talking about how streaming to 10 viewers is disheartening, right? I did that for a year, homie. I had 2 viewers. I told this story on stream the other day. I had 2 viewers. Del Saber and InSaber. I will never forget those dudes. They watched me stream. I downloaded Smite. I was playing Hebo mid, maxing my 3, buying Meditation in the middle lane, back when Meditation was a do not buy item. They would make fun of me. They would laugh. We would laugh together. Gradually, I would learn the game. They would laugh at me and then eventually tell me what I should be doing. Right? Those 2 dudes watched me. Only those 2 dudes watched me. For months. I would go in and I would watch Hi-Res TV and I'd watch Kelly and Bart and DM. I would watch Allied. I would watch Fats. I'd watch that man just because he was from Long Island. But it was really Fats and Allied that I really... They were like... I watched Hi-Res TV, or Smite Game back then, and I watched Kelly and Bart and Brandon. And those people were cool. And look at them do it. And then I watched Fats and Allied, and those are the dudes... They are like me. I can do this. Not everybody has to be the same archetype of streamer. Not everybody has to be the same person. And that's what I thought it was. I was like, well, I'm a little bit different. Maybe I can't do that. Then I watched a couple of other streamers and realized I could do that. I streamed to 2 people for 8 months. They told their cousin I had 3 viewers. I put myself on Reddit. I had 5 viewers. I was ecstatic. I streamed to 7 to 10 viewers for a year. Then I got out of my chair and I approached Dryber and said, hey, maybe I can stream for Tier Monster or some shit. I streamed to 15 viewers at 7 in the morning. I'm not a morning dude. I woke up at 6 a.m. 5 days a week to go stream to 15 viewers. Sometimes we didn't reach 15. I did that again for 6 months. There was a Reddit post asking anybody want to try and cast. I said I'm down. Shouts to DM Brandon. Slowly but surely it happened. Then I streamed for Smite Game. Then blah, 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 blah. 5 years later, here I am. A year and a half, I streamed to 7 people. And then I see pro players who can turn on their stream and get 20 viewers complain. Nah, son. Nah, son. That's why I get heated. And so and then that's why this NCAA thing struck me even harder, because there are people out there that want to and are being told they can't. And you're still going to tell me now, son. Nobody's guaranteed nothing. Going back to that Challenger Cup discussion. Nobody's guaranteed anything. Shout out to my cousin Michael. Played AAA ball. Taught one of the better pitchers. Never made it to the big leagues. Made peanuts. Had to quit baseball. Become a gym teacher. You're not guaranteed anything. You put in the work and hopefully it happens. I get so heated when I see these dudes. Oh, it's disheartening to stream to 7 viewers. I did it for 18 months, kiddo. I've done this show for 4 years. This is the first time it's out of my bedroom. It's not like this because I dated the president's daughter, or I bribed somebody, or I won the lotto. And I'm not even the hardest working motherfucker out there. I grinded. You can go on my Instagram. There's an old picture of me making 3 cups of coffee because I streamed from my attic. I made 3 cups of coffee and I sat there doing the stream. I sat there doing it every day. And I came from literally nothing. The Smite community has always been inclusive. When I joined, it was still Zapman and Laz's and Allied, and everybody knew each other, and everybody made friends with each other, and you became a pro because you knew Zapman from World of Warcraft, or you knew Allied from Smash, or you knew Laz's from wherever Laz's did things, right? Like, that's where you got your start. I wasn't one of those dudes. Some of these guys, you turn on your stream accidentally, you get 40 viewers. Too hard. Too tough. Too much. Too difficult. Get the fuck out of here. That's garbage. That is personally offensive to me when I see that. I personally get heated when I see that. Because it's also a push and a pull. I'm obviously a passionate guy. My level of give a shit-itude is relatively high. So, I don't work for just anybody. I work for Hi-Rez because I believe in their game. I love Smite and I believe in their character. I like what they do. Shout outs to Stu and his recent retweet of that YouTube video. It's a fun company. I like this place. But I believe in the game. I believe in the league. And I do my best to put the league up a little bit. Now, it's nobody's one responsibility to promote the Smite Pro League. It's not mine or yours or Zapman's or Barracuda's or Laz's or Brad Weir or Stooch's. It's nobody's individual responsibility. It's everybody as a community. Whether, this one's for Fats, whether you're a giant school of wishy-washy or just one individual guy, it's putting in the effort on the individual basis that makes it happen. And I see too many people when I say, hey man, Smite would be so big if everybody went ahead and streamed or made videos and everything. And like I said, excluding the folks that just can't. Some people don't have good internet. Some people don't have the time because they work a job. That's fine. But to those that have the time, the resources, the time and the energy, but not the effort, I take that, whether or not it's intended, as a personal middle finger in my face. Because I've grinded for 4 years. Yeah, for myself, fuck yeah, I want a paycheck. But also, I think this is dope. I think what the Smite Pro League is doing is excellent. I come out here, SPL happened, right? That's me and my buddy Jameson just putting on something. Why? Because we think it's dope and we want to do dope shit. Full stop. That's that. Like, why do I stream Smite? Why am I doing this? Because I want the league to be bigger. And then you have these pros that are like, it's not my job to make the league big. Smite's so small. Well, make it bigger, dog. Make a YouTube video. Make a stream. Oh, well, I'd rather just hang out in TeamSpeak and shit post about how matchmaking sucks. Okay. Well, then don't complain to me about literally anything. This league is awesome. And the people that believe in it put a lot of work into it. Shout outs to the players that do put the effort forward. Because without those players, if y'all think, just like Barracuda and Laz's and Allied would have existed no matter what, and probably Laz's too. Just like Barracuda and Jeff Hindla and me wouldn't exist without Smite, Smite wouldn't exist without us. And of course, all you people in chat by showing up. Nobody washes their hands like this. This is the motion. One hand washes the other. You can't do it by yourself. Everybody needs to take part. And it is personally offensive to me when people sit back and say, it's marketing's fault. They should just put out more advertisements. Nah, son, it's both. Everybody got to work it. Everybody got to work it. Moving on to actually much happier notes, because this is the type of shit that we actually want to see with the league. The NRG Invitational. This is the type of shit that helps the league. This is what we want to see. I've been rooting for something like this forever. I'm so happy it's happening. Me and Hindu Man have been sitting in a corner on Mumble since 2014 going, well, maybe an all-star event would be cool. And then finally, we got it. Reddit, we did it. Reddit, we did it. Minotaurs, Titans, Jugs, Juggernauts, but Jugs is funny, and the Manticore. 4 teams consisted of 4 captains. Raffer, Ataraxia, Barracuda, and Aurora. They got to choose their team's kickball style. And we'll have 2 days of competition this weekend. Benji adapting Zeros, Raffer, and Panda Cat make up Raffer's team. Dimmy, Mask, Prime, Woman, and Ataraxia make up the Titans. The Jugs. That's Barracuda, Jeff, Yaman, Cuvo, Fred, and Variety. And Kiki, Twig, Best, Aurora, and Emilito will make up the Manticore team. These guys are cool. These guys are cool. This is fun. We have never seen something like this, really. And I am so excited. So the breakdown, the way this is working out, 2-day event. On Saturday, you have your we're fucking around fun stuff. It's like 5 of the same character assault and like on her jousts and like crazy stuff like that. And then on the other side, on Sunday, it'll be real conquest with these kickball teams. And this is dope. Like I said, the first time we've ever done something like this, go watch the VOD back for the draft show on Smite Game on Hi-Res TV. That was a lot of fun, and being able to see all the players, rather the captains, just kind of have fun with it. That was dope. That was exciting. I'm really excited for this. This, I think, there's going to be a lot of people to talk about. Jump into the Discord. You can see it was just linked there. Jump on in the Discord. If anybody wants to talk about it, we can chat. And then after this, well, we'll just sort of do free-for-all. Anybody can jump in and chat here. And then depending on if anybody actually wants to talk or not, maybe we'll even do the classic Q&A where we just go till we stop. But either way, I think this one is going to be a lot of fun. So everybody's looking mainly at Barracuda's team. Jeff Hinland, Barracuda, the Sex Tank duo lane, with Cuvo, Fred, Yaman, and Variety. That's a hell of a team. That team is going to farm, right? Well, look at Raffer's team. I think Raffer's team is gnarly too. Raffer adapting, and then Panicat, Zeros, and Benji, making Hunter, Mid, and Solo respectively. That's a scary ass team. I actually think that the Minotaurs, Raffer's team, might actually be stronger than Jeff and Barracuda's team, despite the fact that Cuvo and Variety are out of their minds. Now, Ataraxia gets Dimmy, Mask, Pretty Prime, and Wubbin. And the Manticore is Kiki, Twig, Best, Aurora, and Emilito. I think those guys are going to farm on Saturday. I think the first day, like all the fun games, I added like Kiki, Twig, Best, Aurora, Emilito. These guys are the trolls. These guys are the dudes that go and join your assault game and re-roll the healer. That's who they are. Kiki's a professional Clash player. I think it's going to be fun as hell to watch these guys go at it. I really do. Unfortunately for the Titans, I don't know how that's gonna work. So it should be interesting. Players are playing for big money. First place gets $15,362. I'm not sure on the 300, but the 62 and the 15,000 I'm sure of. DNG's is triggered by 762, my mistake. $15,762. So it's real money as well, which is kind of funny. So, I don't know. That one's going to be neat. It looks like our phone lines are a little bit light today. So here's the deal. We have 20 minutes left. Reaper, who's been fantastic today, generally always one of our bigger contributors. I'm going to talk to him a little bit about what he thinks is going on with the NRG Invitational. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to answer all these questions in chat. Now, this is fun. If you guys have watched First Period in the past or any of my old talk shows, what happens is after I'm done talking to Reaper, I'm going to pick a point in chat where I stop my chat from scrolling. And everybody that asks the question, troll or not, I'll answer. Now, disclaimer, I'm not going to answer every single question. If you cross a line or ask me something that's going to get me fired, well, guess what? Your boy's not answering it. But theoretically, I'm going to answer every fucking question. And basically, the show lasts until I scroll all the way down and I answer the questions. I tend to go fast. People tend to spam Rap God. It's kind of hilarious. It's kind of a gimmick, but hey, we all need one once in a while. So I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be interesting. Energy Invitational this Saturday. Starting, this Saturday. Definitely want to tune in. Reaper, a.k.a. Falling into Black. What's goody, man?
So, we were saying that Barra and Raffer kind of have the dream teams. Aurora's got the meme team. That's what Aurora has, is the meme team.
Absolutely. These are the guys that you don't want to run into in your match of the day.
Exactly. That is exactly what these guys are.
Which means they're going to... So, Saturday sets the seeding up for Sunday. So if you crush it on Saturday, you theoretically have an easier way through Sunday. Theoretically, of course, but...
Theoretically. It's going to be fun to... If Aurora's team is going to thrive anywhere, it's on the events on Saturday, but for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, real talk, if you zoom out a little bit, I mean... Name power, probably not, but Kiki, Twig, Best, Aurora, Emilito, I mean, that's not a bad roster to, it's nothing anybody's shaking their head at. So I think they are definitely the dark horse.
Well, I think the biggest question mark of the draft was Wubbin on Raxia's team.
For some of, I mean...
Personally, I think Wubbin's fantastic, but a lot of people are like, really, Wubbin?
Listen.
It's like, go ahead.
How do I? It's not always about play. It's not always about gameplay. That's all I'm going to say on that subject. Wubbin, he's coming, and that's what we're going to watch.
Indeed.
So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Indeed.
We'll see. Oh, well. Final thoughts on the Energy Invitational, my friend?
How did they let Barra's team through? How?
I have no idea. I wanted somebody to play cockblock in the draft process. I was sitting there. I was like, somebody stop it. Somebody stop it. And we all just watched it. Nope. We all just played the violin as the Titanic sank and let Barracuda get his jank team of superstars. I don't know, man. Plot armor, right? Right?
Plot armor.
Hey, man, you've been a pleasure. Any shout-outs you want to give?
Yeah, actually, shout out to my friend Ashley, who actually told me about the Energy Invitational. I never would have known about it had she not told me, so...
Well, hell yeah. Shout-outs to your friend Ashley.
And shout out to you and the rest of the casting team. So awesome.
Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate the kind words, and thank you for calling in and giving us a good time here today. I'm sure we'll catch you next week as well.
Yep. Have a good one.
You too. Peace out. Reaper's been fantastic today. So like I said, we're going to do the old-fashioned way. We got a couple of minutes before we go. So where are we in the chat? Okay, yeah. So, okay, Ependary. Yes, this is free for all. If you guys want to talk about literally anything, you guys can join the Discord. From where Ependary says, this is FFA. Come on, man. I know you're from Estonia, but you can spell the word this. I'm going to pause my chat, and everybody's going to ask questions beneath it. Please only post your question once. I'm only going to answer it once. And I'll just scroll down, and when we reach the bottom, that's when the show ends. If there's anybody that wants to jump in on the phone line, quote unquote, that's what Discord is for. It's been linked in chat. I'll do it myself. I don't know if it was recently because, like I said, I paused my chat. But you can click on that, and I don't really see anybody jumping in right now. I'm just wasting time so you guys can actually type in questions. Velocity's showing up. He's a cool guy. He's a caster. I know this guy. Let's see what Verbalocity has to say. We'll pull him in here and we'll give him the old unmute. Hey there, chap, fellow caster. What up, Verbalocity?
Not too bad. How's life been, F-Dot?
Man, it's been pretty good, man. Valencia was cool. Now we're chilling at home. How about you?
Not too bad. Things have been nice, relaxed. SEA's having relegations this week, so that's going to be a whole heap of fun. Just reran the CC relegations, but it's not about me. I wanted to ask you a question. This is technically a run back 3 years in the making. So a while ago, that's actually 3 years ago, I was on the podcast. I called in for the podcast with you, Octane Pro, and Shadow Boy. Octane Pro gave me a skin code. I think it was Artemis 2012. And I asked the question then, I'll ask the same one now, because it's rather pertinent with certain events that have happened recently. Exterminator Rom. So the specific question being skins and the whole copyright nonsense. How close, in your experience, have high-res artists gotten to doing certain inspiration pieces before having to be pulled back by another department?
Okay. I have absolutely no clue. So just to break down esports, we are like in our own little like prison bunker here by ourselves. We don't even get the food.
Right.
It's in a different building, but I mean, I will tell you this much: the high-res artists are fun-loving and creative. So I'm sure that there's a ton of things that just don't see the light of day just because there's no time. But also, yeah, sure, probably a lot that kind of like flirt with those sort of things. Follow high-res. Oh, what is her name? Anna Miranda Buns on Twitter. Anna on Twitter does a lot of like for fun imagery that has a lot of like fan crossover stuff. So, I think that can be definitely something to take a look towards.
All right. I see a bunch of people queuing up already, so I'll bugger off. All right, sorry.
Thanks a lot, Verbalocity. Really appreciate it. Verbalocity's a commentator in the Challenger Cup world. You can find him elsewhere. And as he said, SEA doing their thing. We got James Origin, a new friend. Unfamiliar with him. What's going on, buddy? What do you got to say?
I was just wondering, I know obviously DM's very respected in the community, about him being so negative towards the game. Always saying like this game sucks and things like that, calling everybody who plays it bad.
You cut out right in the middle. So I'm going to ask you one more.
I cut out right in the middle?
Yeah.
All right. What do you think about DM always insulting the game? Like saying that it's terrible, saying that everybody who plays it is terrible. Because personally, like I respect his knowledge of the game, but I just think I see where he was in the past, and I think that he's kind of fallen a bit.
Sure. That's a valid question. And full disclosure, I'm good friends with Brandon, so I'll say that first and foremost. But
I love the stream.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy the stream, but I just wonder what you think.
I mean, it's man, when you have that one friend that hates your other friend, but you're friends with them both. That's kind of what it's like for me, because it's like, listen, I'm friends with AJ. Obviously, Brandon has his own feelings, and
yeah,
I respect Brandon's opinion, but I don't think he's correct all the time. I think there are some times where I think there are some times where Brandon gets it right. Again, personally, I'm not talking for high-res. The tier change was very interesting. When tier was OP and the heal stayed like relevant for a long time. Yeah, what? In retrospect, again, speaking for myself and not for high-res in any capacity, I think Brandon was probably right. With respect to
tier was fun to watch.
Sure. But with respects to how high-res is handling Raijin, for example. Speaking personally, not for high-res, I have designed games not at high res but outside. I've done a couple of mobile games with my friends. I've done a couple like like fun games that don't mean anything, and I've done a couple of like really. When it comes to game design, it's a triple beam balance, not like throw shit at the wall. And so you're just kind of like,
Yeah.
did that work? Let's sit back and watch. Did that? And so like, you know, when it like
Yeah.
when it comes to the Ryzen change, you know, Brandon was very heavy-handed, and I disagree with him
Yes.
in that regard. So basically, what it comes down to is, I mean, how do I feel about the situation? Man, that sucks. I'm not going to say I wish he was nicer, because I'm glad Brandon is the person that he is, and that's why we're friends.
It's fun.
Yeah, we're both. I mean, whether it's a northeast thing or not, we're both very like straight to the punch, bull by the horns, blunt people, and I think that's what I think that's what makes Brandon Brandon. I will say that I think he's been a little bit more negative than usual lately, and for what it's worth, Brandon,
Of course.
he did put something out on Twitter saying like, look, man, like personal shit happens and like things aren't hunky dory, so like, you know.
Yeah, I know exactly how he feels.
Yeah, so like I think you know, at the end of the day, I think Brandon, I'm not saying that he doesn't really believe these things, but how do I feel working in high-res and having a good friend of mine disparage some of my friends in the game that I work for? Like, look, it doesn't feel great all the time, but at the same time, it's also nice to see a different lens through which other people are looking through. And I know this sounds like super bullshit political, but like that's actually how I feel. It's
of course, no.
You know, because if you're too zoomed in, if you're just sitting here like, man, I love Freya, everything is awesome. You're not like
Freya is great though.
Nobody's learning anything. But when you're like, oh, somebody thinks she sucks or she's too big, that's when you start to see the hidden picture. You know what I mean? So I am glad he provides a different lens, but I just, you know.
Okay.
Maybe you could.
I was more thinking just like the way he kind of tells his audience things. And anyways, thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks a lot for joining, James.
All right. See ya.
Take it easy. We've got JV Lasters here. We'll see what he has to say. Hopefully it's not as scary as that last one. JV Lasters. Lasters? I think I'm saying that right. What's good, man?
Hello?
Hey, what's up, bud? How's it going? Welcome to the show.
Hello?
Hey, what's up, bud? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? All right. Well, that's that. You
Okay.
Yeah, you tried. Ependary, we're going to bring you in here. Good old friend of mine.
Oh, hello?
What up, Estonia? How you doing, man?
Hello, hello.
How are you, buddy?
You good?
Yeah, we're good.
I'm chilling. So, a topic I wanted to talk about. Sorry to be on a negative note, slightly negative note again after the last one, but throughout high-res, with Smite, with now Paladins, lead designers like Triber, going from Smite to Paladins to going to a new project right now, and then like the lead designers are switching up so constantly or so often. How do you feel like it's affecting the games? Because I feel like a lead designer should be on the project from start to finish, because that's the person who should know the most about it.
That's not really how game design works in real life. Nowhere. I think when you look at like long-time lead designers like that, you're talking about like Mark Rosewater from Magic the Gathering, who's been doing it for 20 years, and that's it. Like nobody else really does that. That's just not how the industry works. That's not how people work. I mean, you like rap music when you're little, and then you like jazz music when you're like, people move on to different things. And for what it's worth, Drybear was never a lead designer of Smite. He was just another designer. There was a different guy named Scott Zier who was in charge of everything up until a certain point, and then it was AJ. Literally just been two lead designers. I don't want to dive too deep into this because that's like high-res world, and I'm definitely not wearing my high-res hat, but I will say that the people that do leave different projects, one, the misconception that high-res is out here just like, oh man, we got a new project, everybody go hands on it. That's not how that works. People choose to move on, not because they hate Smite or they're done with it, but because, well, trying something new is always something you should do in your professional life. If you're, whatever it is that you do, you should strive to push the boundaries and expand yourself, and so certain people do that. But really, what it comes down to is the designers that do what they do, bringing in fresh eyes is a positive, because looking at the game in the same lens for 3, 4, 5 years means the game is going to get stale. But if you bring in new and different opinions and different things, and again, not speaking for Hi-Rez, speaking from my own experience as a musician, you have a band and you have a sound, and then you bring in a new bassist, and all of a sudden, well, we only play eighth notes, but he's slapping 16ths. Oh shit, this sounds funky. I'm down, right? And so new mechanics that get brought into Smite, right? Scotty's ice crowd control, that's Hindu Man, right? So that's cool to see different things come from different people, different perspectives come through differently. And so,
but as a lead designer, when you're and also when you're obviously you're talking about the game a lot with different people, when you're in a lead designing position, wouldn't a great lead designer be able to not only see the game through one lens and see it through multiple angles?
Of course, and I mean that's so another misconception is that designer or lead designer is a singular position. While somebody holds a title of lead designer, it's never there. I don't think there's a single thing in Smite that's been created by one person, let alone not just Smite in video games, right? I mean, Ice Frog didn't do Dota all by himself. And, he's probably the most singular designer out there. And so, when it comes down to it, for me, it's just very, I don't know, there's a lot of misconceptions about how design works. And at the same time, there's a lot of stuff that goes on under the hood that Hi-Rez doesn't say. And so it's not for me to reveal either. But I think there's a lot of misconceptions about people moving projects. I think it happens less often than people actually think in real life. And I don't think when it does happen, I don't think it hurts much of anything. I think that Smite existed before, for using Rory or Drybear as an example, Smite existed before him. He came through. We got some cool Rory stuff, and then he moved on to different things. And I think, when it comes to other designers, that's neat. But at the end of the day, Kama, Fish, they've been here forever. They're still here. So there is the lack of stability is a meme. That's not actually true.
I see you.
Never change, Eppenderry. You got anything else to say, buddy?
Not really. Maybe see you at Worlds?
Yo, fuck yeah. I'll be around. You always know it.
Okay.
Sounds good, man. Peace out, bro. We've got Tier Deem coming in next. Coming in hot. What's up, buddy? How you doing? Let me unmute you. How's it going, boss?
What's up?
Chilling, bud.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Perfect. What's good? Welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
So what's up?
Okay, so my question, in other games, other MOBA games like League of Legends, you have a lot of high-ranking one-trick ponies that only play one champion. Why do you think Smite doesn't really have that kind of scene?
Because it's a better game.
Strongly disagree. But...
Well, I mean, Smite is a better game than League of Legends, full stop. Other games, I'm down to debate. League of Legends, I don't know. League of Legends, so, and I mean, this is actually, I'm glad you bring this up because this is actually like one of the more like tangible points here. Is that when it comes down to League of Legends, you can just main a champion and hope they don't ban it. And you can, I think they have a system where you can make sure they don't ban it. Like you choose your god before you go in or whatever the fuck. Whether or not I'm right on that, irrelevant. The point is that it's a simplified game with respects to like tactics and how that works. So you can just be like, yo, I play Yasuo all day. That's all I do, right? You can just pick Teemo. Nobody picks Teemo. You can just pick Teemo and just
people
beat
pick Teemo. People pick Teemo, but
you could just be the Yordle and just do it all day, right? In Smite, in Smite, different characters have different applications. Well, I'm a jungler. They have 3 tanks. I'm either going to go Thanatos for executes. I'm going to go Kali for easy penetration. I'm definitely not going Bastet. They have all squishies. I am going to go. I'm going to go Loki. I'm certainly not going to go Herc jungle. right? So the gods are just tools in the sense that when you're playing similar but simpler games, you can come through and have a hammer for every fucking nail. Whereas when you're playing Smite or more advanced games, I'll bring up games like Dota, you are a plumber and have a tool belt. And the wrench is not always the correct tool for the job. Sometimes you need a pipe cleaner, and sometimes you need a whatever the fuck else plumbers use. I don't actually know. But the analogy stands. It's the idea, plunger. The analogy stands is that you need multiple tools to accomplish the same goal that just one tool could be used in a different game. And I think that goes to show the level of depth, counterability, and intricacy that Smite has over some of the other games.
I mean, honestly, if you think that League of Legends is just locking in a character and then just you can do whatever with it without like thinking about counters, you clearly like don't have any like in-depth knowledge on League of Legends, with I don't fault you for. You're like a Smite caster, so I wouldn't expect you to.
I mean, I'm not a Grandmasters player. I also just don't give a shit because it's a bad game. But I mean, that's besides the point.
Well, I mean, we can argue about that for like days, but that's not why I'm here. But I feel like in League of Legends, also you have to also like really think about counters, because League of Legends also has a lot more hard counters outside of like anti-healing, which is like very big in Smite. League of Legends has like very specific champion counters, but
rock paper scissors is a really lame game.
I mean, it's not just rock paper scissors.
No, it's rock paper shotgun Spock, right? You add 2 more, 3 more, you're still in a fucking pentagram of bullshit. He who counters him, who counters her, who counters him. As opposed to these mentalities may counter these mentalities, but not always because of these 2 variables. I don't know. For me, intricacy is more fun, but that's just me. Final thoughts?
I mean, final thoughts. I feel like if Smite players actually tried one-tricking champions or gods, they learn the high-level concepts of the game much faster. And I think it's a detriment to the game that people don't actually one-trick champions and immediately try to learn all the mechanics of all the champions at once before Brent, instead of singling out the general parts of the game first before branching out.
All right, that's fair. I understand too a little bit. Thank you, Teardom, and I'll finish some of this conversation as well. I think there is something to be said about finishing a character before you can move on. Or excuse me, I think there is something to be said about learning the mechanics of the game on a single character. And I think more people do that than not. I played Hebo exclusively from level 0 to level 30. But when it comes down to it, your characters in Smite or any MOBA are not as intricate as a fighting game. When you look at the fighting game scene, these players play one character, and then maybe they have a secondary. Because you're talking about the frame data, the intricacies of how many how many 30ths of a second your ability leaves you staggered before you can move on to the next one, what is safe, what combos together. At the end of the day, you can animation cancel, and you can definitely find intricacies. And actually, shout-outs to DM Brandon, who's been putting out some really solid content online about the intricacies of some of these characters. His Thanatos Guide came out today. There are intricacies to the characters, and I'm not arguing that there's not. But the mentality that you have to sit there listen, if it takes you more than a month to learn a MOBA character, the problem's not the game, the problem is you, buddy. You just got to get good. But the idea that, like, you can pick Bastet in every game, you're playing the wrong game, kid. Like, that's just not going to happen. I mean, in some positions, it's better than others. You can pick Athena virtually every game and probably be successful to a certain extent. You can pick Rom every game and probably be successful to a certain extent. But at the top level, I mean, if you're playing, there are gameplay counters that you have to play into, and that's what makes Smite so interesting and fun. Is that it's entertaining to have that idea. So I mean, I don't know. sticking to, you can't just choose one character. And if you're able to succeed in a MOBA by choosing one character, then I question the intricacy of the game itself. We've got Knock coming up here, FPL Live. Welcome to the show, buddy. How you doing? What do you got to say?
Doing pretty good, F-Top.
Hell yeah.
I had a question regarding game balance and Ajax specifically.
All right. We'll see what I want to say.
I understand that there's some that you can't say, but numerous large personalities, such as Brandon, many pros have spoken out against Ajax's balancing, and I just wanted to get your opinion on it.
I think you're overestimating the amount of pros that have spoken out against it. In fact, the majority of the pros, especially when you speak off camera, off Twitter, off Reddit, the majority of pros think Smite is relatively well balanced. There are definitely bad points that come through. Fatalis sucks. The era of Chronos Freya, and that's it in the Hunter lane. That kind of sucked. Tyr was too strong once upon a time. But in general, Smite tends to be relatively well balanced, and the pros will agree with that. As far as how AJ has been doing, personally, again, not speaking from a high-res point of view, I think AJ is doing a relatively well job. Game design is an art. Not every painting rules. Not every song is Stairway to Heaven. And not every god is going to be Kepri. Or, excuse me, not every god is going to be Ganesh. But in general, I think he's doing a good job. And, again, asterisk, it's not one man. AJ does not play 3 games of Conquest, say, I got beat by Kali, nerf this bitch. He consults data. He consults a team. There's a whole process. There's a lot that goes into the making of the sausage. You might not like the fact that it's cased in blood, but that's what makes it taste so damn good.
Alrighty. Now, in regards, I just wanted to ask a question. Specifically, the biggest change that seemed to hit Smite recently was, I'm not also to chat and to you specifically, I'm not claiming that Ajax has done a bad job. I think that he's been 50-50 most of the time. But the biggest change to hit Smite recently has been the Fatalis removal. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it seems like under Ajax, the balance team has had really kind of trigger-happy decisions where an item isn't panning out or a certain ability isn't panning out to a way that they want it. Golden Bow, for instance, and in this case, Fatalis. And Fatalis was just straight removed, which really limits characters like Kali or Baka.
Both of which can buy Katana, essentially Fatalis. So, no.
Okay.
Hasten Katana.
That's true, but yeah. I understand that Hasten Katana is in the game.
It's the same item with a different name. You just can't buy it if you're a hunter. It's literally the same fucking item.
Alrighty. That's about all. Thank you.
Sweet. Thank you for your time. I will actually address that real quick. Homie went full speed into the column. Keisha's smoking on Keisha. But I will address that real quick. The idea that, like, hey, we'll try it. Oh, it didn't work. Fuck, remove it. Not how it happens. I don't really want to dive into how the balance team makes their decisions, but the idea that, like, it happens on a, like, minute-by-minute basis is completely incorrect. So, thank you. Let's see if this JV Lasters dude is going to work. Last guy here. JV Lasters, you there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, what's up, man? Didn't work before. How's it going?
Yeah, something went wrong with my headset. But hey, I wanted to ask you if you thought that these changes would actually be good, because my whole idea on Smite is that, like, there's not enough people in ranked, and I want to, like, encourage, like, people that just play casuals, like, to try to play ranked, because there's a lot of tryhards in casuals. So I wanted to ask you if you thought these changes would be kind of cool.
I think that, and so it's interesting. I used to be one of those dudes. I never played ranked until, like, last year. and it just was how it went. I played casuals, and I went super hard in casuals, and I think that there's like a little bit of like anxiety, like, oh no, I don't want to lose because this matters and people are gonna get mad, but also the idea that like, bro, I want to play my god, and when they ban it, I'm screwed. So I think this, I don't get my role. I think slowly but surely we're finding new steps. I think Project Olympus is really cool. I think Pon did a good job explaining it, and like the small steps, like being able to say, I think you should ban this guy, or I want to play this guy in ranked, is really neat. And slowly but surely we should see more people play ranked, I think. But it's tough, you can't just like overnight get mad people doing it.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but it's like I feel like there are some things that Smite could do to try to encourage people.
Like what?
Like all right, so one of the things I wanted to I thought of was like revamping the tutorial, because a lot of people don't know how to efficiently farm. Like the tutorial just really teaches you about like the objectives of the game, like just like there's towers, there's a phoenix, you have to kill those to like get to the Titan, and that's really about it.
I will say that is something that's actively being looked at. So you're 100% right. I agree with you, and the people that are important agree with you as well.
All right, God bless. Number 2, I had changed the UI or encourage UI customization, because not a lot of people actually have map awareness.
Are you playing from console?
No, PC.
You can change the UI.
You can, but a lot of people just don't know it. And like the map originally is just so small in the top right corner.
Dude, it's right there. Like it's you hit escape.
I've changed it, but a lot of people don't.
I mean, what do you? So I mean, there is something to be said for UI design, thinking that hey, we did it. But I mean, it's right there. I don't know what else. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I don't like. Sure, I was with you on the tutorial thing. I'm not as with you on this one. I think that like
I just feel like there's too much people that like just run into 1v5s and they're like, "Where's my team?" And like we have to ping to them. We're at Fountain. Like, what are you doing?
Those dudes making their map the size of their screen is not going to help those guys. I'm just saying that one right now.
All right. Well, I have one more.
Shoot.
And that was, I really like this one. It was to allow the color change of ability outlines and the reticule, so that like it decreases the chance of like people missing abilities, because like sometimes it's actually hard to like focus on a fight, but like you don't really like the color of your outlines kind of like merge with the map. Like you don't really see it as good as you should. Like you don't pay attention to it as much.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I'll give that one to you. That's interesting. That's something that, you know what, I will write that down and like bring that up. Because you can actually do that in some other games that I play, and honestly, I just do it for fun. My Counter-Strike reticle is bright pink because it's hilarious, but who knows? Maybe it's actually something. I was with you with the tutorial. I wasn't with you with the HUD. This one will meet you halfway, and like, yeah. So, but at the end of the day, I think it's important that like I'm with you in general that getting more people to play ranked would be cool. So, I'm glad that you're out there like trying to brainstorm different ideas. So, I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll catch you next time. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
All right, we got Tomahawk here. I think he might be the last. Tomahawk, what's goody? Welcome to FPL. How you doing tonight? You there?
I'm doing all right.
Oh yeah, there you are. What's up, man? What's on your mind?
I want to talk about balance, the balance team that Hi-Rez has working for them right now. Looking at some of the gods such as Sonornos and some of the other hunters, I feel that they've nerfed him, but they haven't really been hitting what they need to be hitting. They think like wave clear on all of the hunters is fine, but people like gods like Cernunnos to have four abilities and one ability being his one, I believe.
That's sick.
They need to like the slow. I feel is not as potent as like maybe up it a little bit, but they need to fix so many different things for like hunters and even mages. I feel that some of the mages, Morrigan still hits hard, and 130-second cooldown on an ult is a bit excessive. I don't know what you think about Morrigan's ult being over 100 seconds for cooldown. If it should be
to a whole different character, my guy. You get another ult by ulting. I don't know. I think you're kind of all over the place. Give me like one question, guy.
Okay. Do you think that? All right, I'll just stick with mages. Easy question. Do you think Raiden's in a good spot right now, or if he needs to be buffed?
Yes. Okay, you asked me two questions that have opposite answers. No, I don't think Raijin is a good spot. Yes, I think he needs to be buffed. I think that the changes that were made to Raijin allow him to be buffed because his old iteration existed like this. He was either broken, he was either garbage or overpowered. There was no in between. And this new iteration allows you to find that spot. At the moment, underwhelming. In the future, perhaps fine. Game balance is all about a triple beam balance, not a we got it. So it's a process, and as the eternal Sam Hinkie says, trust the process. So thank you. I appreciate your input. It's Tomahawk. Thanks for joining us. We've got Dylan on the line. We're coming down to the end here, about 15 more minutes. So jump into the Discord. We're not going to be doing our text. We're not going to be doing our text Q&A today. We got people on the lines. 15 more minutes. Jump into the Discord and ask us anything. Balance. I'm so tired of. What up, Dylan? How's it going, man?
What's up, dude?
Chilling, bud. What's on your mind, man?
I just wanted to talk about like items that like are only good in like one god, and then they like change it, and then like it gets super nerfed, and then the item's out of the game. Like Golden Bow for one, like I didn't think they should have changed it at all because like only Merc got it, and even when everyone thought Golden Bow was bad, Merc still got it, and it was still used on him.
Yeah.
But then they buffed it and did the same thing.
I mean, so
like one of my favorite items.
So that's interesting. And I'm going to speak less specifically high res here and more just game design in general. Having an item in a MOBA that works for one particular character and no other characters is bad. That's not ideal game design. And having a character be dependent on an item is also bad. That's not ideal game design. So if you're designing a game and there's a character that is the only character in a slew of hundreds of characters that use an item or use one output, that's not ideal. So you want to change that so that more people can use that item, and when it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It wasn't like, and then when you look at how badly, and this is sort of the ripple effect, right? One character uses Golden Bow, you want to change it so that more characters use Golden Bow. Hunters use Golden Bow. All of a sudden, you've homogenized the entire role of Hunter, and every god is the same. There's no difference between them all. Well, oops, that's bad. And then you have core design elements that are just bad, like that. You don't want to homogenize the role. So, I mean, I don't design Smite, but as I've designed other games, you want to stay away from problematic game design skeletons, and those item situations that you've talked about are problematic. It's tough. That's and like I said, I don't really design Smite, but the guys that do are good at what they do. And it's harder than it seems a lot of the time. So
I see your point. I just thought it was pretty unique, to be honest.
Yeah,
and like it was the same thing with Fatalis. I know Fatalis is still in the game, but there was a point that only Colleague had it.
Yeah, and that's that's why Fatalis was sort of preserved for the melee characters. So,
well, that's all I gotta say. And if there's any NA pros listening, I really want you guys to step up the next LAN, or else I'm gonna go rip my hair out and go salt my wounds on Season 1 World Spots.
Hell yeah, Dylan! I appreciate it, man, and I agree with you. NA, step it up. I want to see more of that. We got Kaylee Yogkavi. So if you've seen my icon on Twitter, she's the fantastic artist that's done that. What up? How are you?
Hi. I just had a really quick question because I've never seen any discourse about it before.
Sure.
What do you think of Smite data mining, and do you think it's harmful?
Interesting question. You've never so. I am loud about data mining. I don't like it. I hate data mining, and I didn't like data mining before I worked at High Res. At the end of the day, I want to tune in at 4:00 and watch Hindu Man talk about the patch notes. And when somebody spoils it for me on Reddit, I get salty. Especially since half the time it's like false or work in progress. As far as like, is it harmful? I mean, I think it's harmful for like, I keep saying the game design is a process. A lot of times, like halfway through, something will be data mined, and it'll just be like, "Oh, look how broken this is," and you're sitting there like, "That was how it was 5 playtests ago." That's not even. Why are you mad? Like, that's not even what we're doing, man. So I think it's just harmful. Maybe a harsh word. Does it bring around misconceptions? Is perhaps the more accurate way to say it. So I think I'm not a fan of it because I want to hear Hindu Man read me the patch notes and I want to be, they buffed Freya? Oh no, they removed Fatalis. But that's just me.
For sure.
That it?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
Good talking to you.
Sweet.
Been a really great stream so far.
Hell yeah. Thanks a lot. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate
No
it.
problem. See ya.
See ya. We got Resident RAR here talking on FPL. What's going on, Resident RAR? How you doing tonight?
Hey man, how's it going? How you doing?
Not bad, not bad. What do you got on your mind?
All right, so I had a really just a short one here.
Shoot.
I think that there's a pretty big issue in the ranked community with something that I'm sure you're well acquainted with, and that's toxicity.
In our city.
And Smite and a lot of other games have this handy-dandy feature where you can go ahead and mute another character or another person in your game. And that's all fine because they can't, spam you with text or spam the voice chat, but then you kind of fall under the issue that you can then no longer receive any, kind of helpful, pings or any call-outs. Do you think that the Smite might in a way have an option to mute a character's or another person's text chat, but still possibly hear their VGS or their ping commands? Like maybe just have a toggleable feature where you can mute their voice, kind of like how Overwatch does, but you can still hear, text chat and stuff.
I mean, it's a nice thought process, and I'm sure it's something that's come up before. But when it comes down to it, I mean, you're gonna get if the guy's calling you names and then you mute him, you're gonna get spam pinged and you're gonna get, you rock, cancel that, you rock, cancel that, you rock, cancel that. So I mean,
sure.
It's like,
well, if it comes to that, then you just mute the option where you can mute their pings. But for the meantime, they don't know that you've muted them. They're going to continue to spam away on their keyboard at you and think that they're super funny and, I called this man a bad word, but
yeah,
maybe.
I feel you. I think it's something worth talking about. I think, you know what? I'll holler at well, it's not Pon. Pon used to be community, so every time I had a suggestion, I'd be like, I'll holler at Pon. I guess
I'll throw it at Pon.
I'll throw it at Amanda. You know what? I'll still holler at Pon, but that's a good idea. Thanks, man.
All right, that's it, man. Thanks.
Take it easy. We've got Royal Ape coming up next. He's bright red on his Discord icon. I like that. Royal Ape, what's good? How you doing tonight? Oh, I didn't unmute. No,
my shit was muted.
Oh no, here he comes back. There he is. Hey, welcome back, dude.
Hey, what's up? I wanted to start out by saying I thrive in duel and joust. That might be frowned upon, but
no, you cut out there in the beginning. You don't play much Conquest, but you thrive in duel and joust. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't play much Conquest.
Okay.
Duel and joust. And I wanted to know like what you think Iris could do to like help out, even though they balance more around Conquest.
I got no clue, dog. I mean, and thank you. I'll talk a little bit about it. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Conquest is definitely the game mode that the game is balanced around. I think that perhaps, I mean, when it comes down to it, as I said, there's like probably new tutorials coming out. Maybe some love could be shown there. Maybe more bands coming out. I guess I'm the wrong person to ask, dog. I have 2,500 hours in Smite and 2,459 of those hours are in Conquest. I've played literally 15 minutes of Clash, so I am the absolute wrong person to ask. We've got 5 minutes left. I'm going to see what Velocity has to say. What up, my friend? How you doing? What's goody tonight?
Hey there. I sound a bit tired. It's 1:30 a.m. in UK, but
Yeah.
My question is, in the SPL, I know I've seen a few people have been talking about adding a few more SPL spots from Challenger Cup into SPL. What are your thoughts on that? Because I know there's a bit of a skill gap.
I
but
think
what do
that'd
you
be
think?
a terrible idea. I think that our 8th seeds, I think that like where we're at right now with 8 teams in the Pro League, by the way, thank you for staying up. I really appreciate it. I think that where we are right now with 8 teams in the Pro League, like we're already seeing the 7th and 8th teams as the swap teams. Either they get stomped and they swap out to relegation, right? Those are the swap teams. Anymore, everybody's going to be even worse. I think that 8, somewhere between 6, 7, and 8 is a good number of teams. I think that lower than 6, you're losing some competition. Higher than 8, you're just not doing anything. So is 8 perfect? Nobody knows for sure, but I like it better than I like 9. That's absolutely for sure.
Yeah, fair enough.
Thanks for your question. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Take it easy again. Thank you for staying up with us. We got Skyrim 4 days / keys deal. We're just gonna call him Skyrim for day. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing well. What's up tonight?
I just wanted to know AMC buff, maybe.
I'm a fan of AMC, and hey, AMC won a game during the summer finals. I think at the end of the day, AMC is one of these characters that need the right composition around him. He is incredible burst. Nobody can really 1v1 him. He's probably the only guy that has a leg up on Ho Yi when it comes to the 1v1 boxing match. It's just the fact that you see him and he's toasted. So you kind of need people around him. Does he need a buff? I don't even think he needs a buff. But I think he's a buzzworthy character.
Yeah. I mean, that was just right there. My real question is, do you think there could be possibly like a PS4 SPL anytime in the future?
I have no clue on that stuff, man. Yeah, I wish I had an answer. My answer is no idea. Sorry, man.
All right, just thought I'd ask.
All good. Appreciate your time. Thanks for watching, buddy. Have a great night. We've got the Robodog, and I think that might be a fantastic person to end on, because we all know how much I love dogs. Mr. Robodog, how you doing tonight?
Hey, After. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's goody, bud?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. By the way, I've got a quick esports question about you for you. I wanted to know your opinion on Elevate, the team.
On which?
Elevate.
Oh, Elevate. I actually really like Elevate. Elevate is a lot of fun to watch, and I was very upset when Fails moved on to Enix. Well, partially. I really like Fails as a player, and when Fails moved on to Enix, it was sort of like, it was sort of like being a teacher watching your favorite student graduate. Like, yes, go on and do something great with your life, but man, you could have made the school so dope, right? And that was kind of how I felt about Elevate and Fails. I thought that Fails was a fantastic jungler, and part of the keystone of what made Elevate. I think getting rid of Jiffy was the beginning of a wonderful push forward, and how Jermaine Dardas and Nulissa have been able to work together has been fantastic to watch. I don't think they're a number one team, but I think they're on their way up. And don't forget where Rival came from. And I think that they have a lot of the right stuff. Like, there's a lot of raw material there. The individuals have to get better, those three specifically. And I think Fails was a very big part of what made Elevate. A lot of the times he was the playmaker on a team where Nulissa wasn't always going to step forward and make those plays. So you needed that jungle presence to go ahead and do it. And since Fails left, it just hasn't been the same. I would love for Elevate to really get a more stable right side of the map, because the left side of the map, the duo lane and the mid, setting that core is fantastic. If they find another jungler and no numbers fine. I actually like no numbers. I think he's good enough and he's the right skill level to grow with the team. If they find another jungler, I think this team can do work. I think that over time we can see Elevate become one of the big dogs. If those three core members, Jermaine, Dardez, and Nulissa, stick together, I think that what happens on the right side of the map will follow suit, and I think that they can be a strong team.
Yeah, that's sort of what I'm hoping for as well. I think they can improve, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, thanks for your question. Glad somebody's talking about Elevate, because they're definitely a fun team to watch, and I think that they have a good future in front of them as well. But that's going to do it for us here on FPL. Yo, real talk, I haven't done this show in a long time. 250 y'all showed up, and a ton of you jumped into Discord and had good conversation. Thanks for everybody that didn't bring up balance or threaten my job with their questions that I had to try and dodge, like the Matrix. But we got out of it alive, and I don't think I'll have to visit HR tomorrow. So I really think that you guys are dope, and it's been a shitload of fun. We touched on a lot of topics today. We started off the day talking about the recap of summer and what it was like to go to LAN at Valencia, and I told everybody to go buy HRX tickets because it was dope. And then we talked about NRG getting Maniac, this YouTube video that you can find where I go in depth about that. Then I got really mad about college traditional sports, and that got me mad about players not streaming. And then I got happy about the NRG Invitational, which is happening this Saturday and Sunday here, not here, but over on Hi-Res TV. It has a bunch of different fun teams put together. Saturday will be sort of fun nonsense games. Sunday will be the real deal. $15,762 on the line, so you definitely want to tune in for that. And it's going to be a wild one. We're going to do this again next week, though keep an eye on the time. We did it 6 p.m. tonight, and I thank all of my EU friends that stayed up, especially Epindary in Estonia. That shit's like the other side of the planet. But we might push it earlier. We might keep it at 6. Just keep an eye on my Twitter, twitter.com/f.ny for all of the relevant details. Again, thank you guys for showing up. A show doesn't exist without you guys. Shoutouts to Fats for his new job. He's definitely a cool dude repping the Twitch cops. Shoutouts to Evie, the girl who puts up the music in front of the show. You can find her on SoundCloud, iTunes, Amazon, and Google Play. Shoutouts to my mans over at Into the AM. Code FDOT saves you 10% on all of your fun, whatever the hell, clothing needs. Oh, man, I was almost good. And, of course, shout-outs to my man Jameson on the ones and twos, making the show actually happen. I'm just the guy with the microphone. I love you guys. I'll be streaming tomorrow, and we'll be doing this show next week on Tuesday. Peace, and much love to you.